Hey guys, it's me, Mason December, and Tash, aka Sketchney, back for another movie
Hello.
magic and gaming gurus live chat. Hello, Tash.
Hey,
Hello,
how's your week?
everyone. My week has been great. I've been playing video games, I've been relaxing more, and I've been playing co-op with some cool person on
Oh,
Raid.
getting your trophies.
And getting trophies. So I'm happy about that. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much doing the same. Gaming, getting stuck, getting chests in Assassin's Creed, and there's this person that keeps doing co-op with me.
Yeah, these co-op people are
Keeping
quite.
me up for hours on end. Just
Yeah, they hold you on there for at least 12.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Minimum. But
so,
hey,
I,
everybody as well.
so are you struggling with the lockpick skill then?
Well, what pisses me off is the same with the initiates case chests.
Yeah.
Is they don't tell you what level they are. Like,
No.
there's even after you visited them, it should log them in your database so that then on your map it shows you what level they are. So I run all the way across town and get to them, and then it's like, oh, you can't open this one because you're not the right level yet because I'm still 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
So. And the same with the initiates chest, you go up to them and they're like, you're not level 13 yet. It's like, well, I'm sorry.
Well, see, I think in initiates they should have like the number in that thing that spins around.
Yeah,
Because you run up to them and you're like, oh, I'm not level 9 yet. And you just get really irritated by it.
yeah. Well, I only just recently, Donna brought me to the attention to the red chests. Actually, the picture of the lock has pin numbers in them.
Yeah, it does.
Like, and I didn't notice this because, of course, my eyes are so tiny. But again, like I say, I don't like running all the way across town to go get it and then going, oh, I can't open it yet.
Uh,
So,
I didn't notice the lockpick thing until after I completed the game.
really?
So now when I'm up to them, I'm like, oh, it's the lock. I didn't even notice the pin thing. I just thought, oh, it's the lock.
Yeah, it's just a lock, yeah.
It's so annoying when you have to open the gates and everything. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the bloody gates as well. And even worse is when you get the doors and that you can unlock, you're at the right level for, but then you get through it, and then the chest in it is not your level.
But what about the co-op when the person expects you to open the gate for them so they can get the chest? I mean, the cheek of it, you
I
know?
know. It's just like, sorry, I can't do it. Would you do it,
And
please?
doing a mission as well. I'm trying to kill
Yeah.
people over it. Can you please open this door for me?
Or no, and then the other person doesn't have enough lock picks, and they're like, oh, sorry, I got to go to the shop.
It's a lot of fun, you know?
Yeah, it is. But it's not long enough. That's the problem, especially the co-op. It's just far too
Yeah.
short.
Well, Dead Kings is supposed to add, like, I think 3 more co-ops to it.
Oh, really?
I honestly think they should have focused on doing maybe 100 different co-op missions or something. Because
Yeah.
by the time you do 2 days, you've done it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the
I mean, what
trophy,
is it? Like 20 missions, and that's it. And it's not even that, I think.
well, I think
And it's
the
just not
trophy,
enough.
the trophy should have had more co-op, like, do double knockouts, like they did with the double assassination thing.
Yeah. That's the thing, and it would be good if, like you say, I mean, they do it in other games. You know, like when it depends on both of you to unlock something,
Yeah.
or like a timing thing or something. But it doesn't, and it makes me sad because for a game that insists unite and be multiplayer and all that stuff, actually, its multiplayer, as awesome as it is, it's far too short.
See, the thing is, most of the missions, even though they're extremely hard to do, you could do them on your own if you wanted to. Obviously, you can't because the co-op isn't there, and you need that for the trophies.
Yeah,
But you can easily do them on your own, especially some of the ones that we've played. Because, I mean, like the Lessons Rage ones, you can do that on your own easily.
yeah, exactly.
You know, the Napoleon ones, I would say, is hard because you have to go over the wire thing and you have to kill these people quickly.
Yeah,
But all you'd have to do is use the smoke in the right places, and you're laughing.
exactly. That is the thing. I mean, there should be more. I mean, that's why I love, say, I know I keep mentioning it, but Portal 2's co-op, you are so dependent on each other. You cannot do certain things without having somebody there. It's not something you can just do on your own, kind of thing. And that's what makes me sad about this, is like you say, the missions that are supposed to focus on having more than one person, I mean, a lot of them say, oh, must have 4 players or something, and then, you know, one of you or 2 of you can do it on your own.
Well, I don't like the social club missions thing, like you were saying yesterday. I mean, I understand it's supposed to be let's do it in a club and let's do it work together, but when it says you need 4 people,
Yeah.
I mean,
And especially to do as many as 60 missions, that's a lot of missions.
Yeah, I mean, you and me, for example, we don't really want to play with 4 people, you know.
No, exactly.
Because you're not going to want to play with 4 people because it's more fun when it's like 2 of you.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Because you can have a laugh, you can joke about, but when there's 4, then you feel like you have to be more serious, and people run the wrong way, people do the weirdest things, like try and just kill people instead of doing the mission objective.
Yeah, like, you know, like just running ahead and running straight in the room and stuff, you know.
Cowabunga, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I'm
it's hectic. There's just all these 4 people going everywhere and that. But as we said as well, time zones. Not everybody's, or you know, different jobs and stuff like that.
Not only that, not everybody's popular when it comes to games. I mean,
yeah.
I know I'm not. I don't talk to a lot of people online on gaming.
I only have a couple of friends on games, and you know, not all of them have the same games as me, you know, kind of thing. So.
They're not going to go out there and buy the game to play with you if it's something they don't like, which is...
Yeah.
Well, I think they're supposed to go on boosting threads and all that, but I've done that in the past and had bad luck with them.
Yeah, I haven't done any of the boosts and that, so...
But yeah, I do think they should definitely give another 20, 30 co-op missions in a DLC.
Yeah, definitely. Mind you, seeing as they can't decide whether to, you know, give the season pass away or not.
but then saying that, if I wasn't able to do co-op, I wouldn't want them at all.
No.
You know. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
So last night, I bought WWE 2K15 for the PS4 from PlayStation Network. Streaming download. I thought, you know what? I can't bother to go to the shop. I don't like buying it digitally, but I'll give it a go because EA UFC worked.
Right.
So I'm downloading it. It takes about 5 hours in all. I'm sitting there getting to the last 20 seconds. Oh, I can't wait to play. Oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to create a couple of my friends and go through career mode with them. Right? So the game finishes. So I put it on. I'm like, yeah, I'm pumped, yeah. John Cena's on the front, yes. And then I put it on and I see only 6 characters available to play as. No other game options, not my career, not any other match types, just a single match. Alright? So I think, oh, this must be one of those things where you have to do it and you're in a tutorial. Right? So I do the match, and the match is really, really stiff. Like, for some reason, I can't pick the person up. I can't really hit them properly. It was like 8-second lags between the punches and everything. So I look on the message boards to 2K15. And basically, a lot of people are having the same problem.
Oh, really? This is, yeah.
Yeah, so basically what they've done is they've asked for a refund because it's not going to get fixed anytime soon. And there was like hundreds of other glitches in it as well, like people creating a superstar and then turning their system off, and then the system deleting the whole file.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, okay. So I called up PlayStation Network. I spoke to a guy called Juan. So I asked him, when he told me, I said, your name Don Juan? He didn't like that. So there I'm talking to the bloke and I'm saying, and he went like this, oh, what do you want us to do then? I said, well, what's the options? Because like Amazon, they go, we'll give you a refund or we'll send you a replacement.
Yeah.
But he wasn't up for that. He just said, what do you want us to do about it? And I'm like, give me options. And he went, we can either refund you or you can talk to TK about it. What TK? 2K.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to talk to 2K about it because I shouldn't be buying a game if it's not working.
Yeah. At the end of the day, PlayStation are the distributors.
Yeah, so they should know if it works or not.
Yeah.
Right? So he goes, oh, our policy says that all sales are final. And I was like, why did you even offer me the refund then?
Yeah.
Right. So then he goes, as a loyal customer, I'm going to send your claim through, but 95% of the time it gets declined. So I said,
That's customer service thing.
so I said to him, and so does that mean that if I get denied, I have to take legal action because you sold me a non-working product? But in your terms and conditions, technically, you're not allowed to sell a non-working product and not give a refund if it's an inferior product to what you're offering. Right? Completely ignored it. Just went, I sent you a thing, goodbye, and put the phone down.
You're kidding! He hung up, like, essentially hung up on you.
Yeah.
That's just...
I
barely understood what you were saying. Maybe he didn't speak English.
It was like this. Juan. This is Juan. I'm like, oh dear. So I read up some things to see if I could get any help with it after. And
Yeah.
one bloke said he called up and he had to call him 6 times to get the refund.
Yeah.
But the thing that annoys me is they can tell if you're playing the game or not. If you're not playing the game, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly. That is the... I mean, what are you supposed to... If you can't play the game... I mean, you've paid that money. You've spent all that time downloading it. But I've had this before, not to that extent, but I had this even on SingStar. It sounds really silly. But I downloaded a Bon Jovi pack, and one of the songs refused to download. It came up going error or something like that. But the thing is then when I tried to re-download it, it wasn't on the list of purchased songs. So I couldn't re-download it. So I didn't have that song. So I went to the individual, stuff like that. Now, I found out later that actually it's because the blinking song is in its own section song pack.
Oh.
So I needed to download it like that. But it was still annoying that,
That's
something
rubbish.
could mess up that badly.
That's rubbish because if there's a what do you call it pack,
Yeah.
I think that should be in there.
Yeah. Oh, I've had as well, a couple other songs I downloaded. And I went to play, it was all downloaded as far as the system was concerned, they were downloaded. I went to play them and they wouldn't load at all.
Well,
But, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, as I was saying to you, I got, we'll cover this next week, but I got Alien Isolation for the PS4. And I put it in, and I'm like, I'll have a, because I'm still playing Assassin's Creed, so I thought I'll just have a quick shifty at this. So, I put it in, and it's like update. I'm like, okay, 1 gig update. So I'm like, okay, I got over an hour and a half for this. Played it. I was playing something else for a little while. Right. Walk away for a while. Turned off the system, but put it in the standby mode, whatever it is, that says the system will continue to charge your controller and download updates. I did that, turned it on later to have a go, hadn't downloaded any further whatsoever. What is the point of having a system that tells you can put it in a mode that will continue to download updates if it then doesn't download the updates while it's in standby?
Well, this is the thing. PlayStation to me has really, really gone downhill.
And learning from Ubisoft, that's what it is.
I love Sony products. I love PlayStation. I've always been a PlayStation boy,
Yeah.
growing up. And I'm not saying their products are inferior or anything. I'm saying their customer service and their product has gone a little bit weird.
Yeah.
The customer service feels like you're talking to basically a school dropout
Yeah.
who doesn't care about you and doesn't really care. It's like if you talk to people nowadays about not having a phone. They just look at you like, yeah, okay, Grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I felt like I was talking to the bloke,
Yeah.
And I was downloading a game and I was like, okay, this is going to work. This is going to be great. Right?
Mm.
And not only does the download take forever because of my internet, sadly.
Yeah.
But you sit there and you're like, I've bought something for $59.99,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't work, and you want to hold back a refund from me when that's my hard-earned money,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
If they do give you the refund, they put it back in your wallet. They don't put it in your PayPal or wherever you paid from. They put
Yeah,
it in
no,
your
you
wallet.
can't. You can only spend it on PlayStation.
I mean, I said to the bloke on the phone, I said, so if you do refund me, that means you don't lose that anyway.
Yeah.
So technically, if they give me the refund, that means they're going to get their money back from me by me giving it to them in whatever else I buy,
Yeah.
which will probably end up being Far Cry 4 or something.
Yeah, joy.
You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it just annoyed me a bit. I mean, today I should be getting Shadow Mordor coming.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
So that'll probably have an update. Let's hope that update works.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, it's funny.
Just
Remember
don't put your system in standby mode.
I remember I connected my old account.
Yeah.
When I log onto it and I go on the PlayStation Store, I'm in England.
Oh, really?
The English store comes up.
So you're using the English store? Yeah.
The same thing used to happen to me when I was in England on the Xbox. One was
Yeah.
American, one was English, and it was just ridiculous how they'd change back and forth.
Yeah.
Because you think it'd pick up because you're in a different country and you're on a system.
You would think it would, like, GPS kind of pick up where you are.
It's really ridiculous. But I'm hoping they give me my refund so that I can, I guess, use it for a game that works.
Yeah.
It annoys me because I was looking at the games and I was like, I only want to play the wrestling one because I play it every bloody year. I played it every year for the last 6, 7 years on the. I mean, I had the first ever SmackDown game and I've had it all the way up to now. And the first one I think came out in like 2000, so that works out at 15 years.
Yeah. So you're like excited, you get the new one, you want to play the new one, kind of thing. It's.
The thing that sold me was I looked at the trophies. It said you could do the swing, and that's basically Messi grabs our legs and swings the bloke around like this.
Oh yeah.
But obviously swings round with you going round in a circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was some bad stuff, and I got a bit angry over it after saying I was going to buy a PS3.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of puts you off Sony.
But Microsoft's not any better. Their Xboxes blew up. I mean, when I had the Xbox 360, I had to have like 9 of them and have them all sent back to me because they'd get
the red ring of death in it.
They'd get the red ring of death.
Mm.
Or they'd just stop working. Each time they'd send me a free item with it, like what's that bit you could plug into it? The
Connect.
No, the bar thing.
Yeah.
No, that's on the tray bit.
Yeah, I can't think.
But would clip into place. Well, they sent me Assassin's Creed one once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they always send you like 1 month or 2 months of Xbox Live.
All right, yeah.
But I just got annoyed about it because I used to have to send it off and be like, ugh.
Yeah.
2
I hate
weeks.
how long it takes for the blinking Xbox to boot up. I don't know why it takes something so long to start up. I've never seen a buffering sign so long, even on low internet connection.
Well, I'll tell you what I hate about. I used to hate the bloody noise. Ooh.
Yeah.
It was worse than having a computer on.
It was like having one of your tower decks kind of
And that
burrowing away, but no fun.
And that bloody massive battery pack.
Oh, yeah.
I used to think if I've got angry with a game, I could just pull that out and go. You know.
Can you imagine just sat there next to somebody and they keep beating you and you're just like, battery pack.
Because the Xbox 360 was the first one I got out of the last gen consoles.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And I remember watching it and getting it because we got it from Blockbuster.
Oh,
You get 4 games with it. One was like a football game, like Pro Soccer or something. One was a racing game. One was Splinter Cell Double Agent. And I can't remember what the other game was now. But it was awesome. You got all these vouchers, like £1 off vouchers. That you could do to get like £1 off maybe a rental or £1 off buying a film. Or it was cool, but it was like, well, this is crap, isn't it? You know? It cost, I think, it cost 450 quid.
Oh, blimey.
My
Yeah.
dad bought it for me for Christmas, and then for my birthday, he bought me like 12 Xbox 360 games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of them was Saints Row. I loved that game at the time. And I sit there now and I think about it, and I think I really loved the Xbox 360. It was like my favourite console at that time.
Yeah.
And then I had the choice to be able to get a PS3. And I said to my dad, I'd go half with him if he helped me with it. Because obviously I was like, wow, was I then? So look, 7 years ago. So I was 19 at the time.
Yeah.
And he said, sure, why not? And we bought one. And my nan went ape about it because she was like, oh, you shouldn't help your son buy this stuff. And I was like, oh, shut up. But anyway, after that, I really enjoyed playing the PlayStation again. Because I only bought the PlayStation 3 originally for Grand Theft Auto and Metal Gear Solid.
Ah, right, yeah. Good plan, yeah.
Yeah, it was because, and then they came out a year after I bought it because they were pushed back. And I was like, oh, fuck. But that's how I ended up in Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And I remember it so clearly because I got the first one from Blockbuster, the Xbox, got the PS3 from Game Station, and then I said to my dad, I want to buy a GameCube. Let's go into Game Station and get the bongo one, you know, the donkey one where you had the bongo.
The dongo, yeah, Donkey Kong.
I really want to do this, you know, and make noises like that, you know, and make go like this, you know. That's a different story at a different time. But they didn't have it in stock. And I was like, oh. But they had the Resident Evil 4 one.
Ah, yeah.
And my dad went, I don't mind paying the extra 30 quid for you to get that one. And I said, okay. So I got it, and I went home, and to this day, Resident Evil 4 is one of my favourite games of all time. I love that game so much. I've played it on the Wii as well.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to play on the Wii, or is it?
Obviously it's not as easy because you have the two bloody controls.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a normal controller, but I never wanted to use anything other than the nunchuck and the other thing, even though I do.
It's not the control with the Wii. It's not the controls I so much have the problem with. It's when you have to do that pointing thing and get the pointer right on the screen. I really struggle with that. I hate playing like Mario Galaxy and having to do that.
You should try playing Wario Land. I bought that game. Took it at my mum's because I used to leave the Wii at my mum's so that we could play at Christmas, like the dark. Yeah. And you had to do things in like 3 seconds, like 3-second intervals, like, you know, like turn it like.
Yeah, trying to get it. Yeah.
And my mum used to say to me one question, she said to me, Matt, why didn't you just say it? And I went, no, I can't. I have to do it because this is really pissing me off. Right? So my mum's like, Malk, you need to not get so obsessed over this. It's a game. And I went, nope. So she was like, okay. So I ended up completing the whole game that evening.
Oh, really? Yeah.
By the time I finished, I got all the control and I threw it on the floor like, F yo! You know what I mean? Like, it's probably the first time in a long time I've been that way with a game. Like, you know. So I
got my PlayStation from Game Station, so.
Oh? How much was it?
I think it was like 420, I can't remember. I bought it on the day of release. But the thing is my PS2 was on its way out. I had to keep, it kept getting disk error problems with the laser, so I had to keep taking it apart. And there was a finicky bit now I had no issue with that because I grew up, as I've said before, I grew up pulling hi-fis apart when they started playing up, like when tapes got caught and stuff like that. I'd take the back off the hi-fi and I would completely enjoy, you know, playing around inside the contraption. I didn't have an issue with getting into the PS2, but at the front where the disc tray was, the way it was connected to the top and the bottom was very snappy. It wouldn't pry open very well. So I'd keep getting my fingers cut and everything like that. So it was starting to get tiring having to keep opening it up and putting it back together again and stuff. So when the PS3, I made sure I saved up like crazy. And I had it pre-ordered with Game Station. and I went in on the day to get it. I put my card in and that, and except on the thing, on the card display thing, I thought it said remove card. So I removed card, except it apparently said do not remove card, and the thing didn't go through properly.
Oh.
So I had to go to the bank, get them to cancel the payment, because obviously to them, as far as the bank were concerned, the money had gone. But according to GameStation, the money hadn't gone. Oh, hello, Jimmy.
Hello, Jimmy Richards. And also, we've got our first question.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, guys, have you played any of the Borderlands games? The new game from Telltale looks good, but I don't know anything about the series. Well, I've got a bit of orange on my lip then. To be honest with you, I've never played any of them. And it's not that I haven't wanted to, it's just I haven't got round to it. I mean,
I played a demo and I didn't think much, but a lot of people say it's really good, particularly the first one.
People are obsessed with it, and I think I played the demo as well, to be honest. I think it was years ago.
Yeah.
But where you played 4 different players, or you team up with 4 players or something?
No, it was what I played was a single player, but I just wasn't really into it.
I mean 4 different players in the game. I mean, like you play as 4 different players in the game.
Oh, right, yeah. I don't remember much. I just wasn't impressed. But I've heard good stuff about the pre-sequel one.
I've heard people go wild over it.
Yeah. But I know that series is a big cult classic now, so...
I'd recommend you give it a go, Jimmy, if you like that type of game. And, you know, normally if something's a cult phenomenon when it comes to games, normally there's really good aspects to it.
Yeah. It's got different elements of game. I know it's got different elements of gameplay and stuff in it, so I like stuff that changes it up every now and then, that you're not doing the same missions over and over again.
That's what I like. I mean, I want to know what happened to the Time Splitters.
Yeah.
That was a great franchise, and all of a sudden they disappeared. There's no more Time Splitters games, is there?
No. But this is the thing, you get the franchises, now don't get me wrong, I love Assassin's Creed, but it has gone on far too long now. Whereas you get the series that you would like to see more of, and they just don't happen.
I'll just say this before we talk about that. 20 hours per, it's good if you like the grinding and farming. So, maybe that's not the thing. But then it's like any game now, it's the same thing. Assassin's Creed, you're grinding and farming to level up. In Skyrim and all that, it's all that kind of thing. If you like those type of games, still not that bad. And we've got some stuff on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Griffin Brandt says hi. Griffin Brandt says, say my name. Griffin Brandt.
Griffin Brandt.
And made to them has shared this, so obviously that's not one of those things. But
you shared it on Google Plus. Google Plus congratulates you. You have a trophy. You are awesome.
But yeah, going to Assassin's Creed, like you were saying, it's gone on way too long. They've made too much of it. Because like I said before, how can Desmond's relatives be, one, a guy from like the age of nothing, to being an Italian, to being French, to being a English pirate,
to Native American and all that, and yet he's the whitest guy you could probably ever.
Yeah.
He does look a bit like Adam Sandler, but
by Nathan Drake, and you're like, to be honest, I thought they were going to end it with Revelations.
I wish they'd ended it after Desmond passed. Sorry, spoilers, but just
because I honestly thought that bit, you know, when they're in the cave thing.
Yeah, with the spirit people and all that stuff.
We're still trying to find out what all this Eden stuff is about.
Yeah.
And by now, what is it, 8, 10 games now, if you count all the systems?
Yeah.
By now, it's like, where is it all? Why haven't we got it? Why don't we know who these people are? Are they going to end up... I mean, when in NCOs where they had the Apple of Eden, and you had to find it in the pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, we've got, like, the Sword of Eden.
Well, some of the levels I liked especially even as they got to the end in like Revelations and that, you still had and even Free, you still had like the spirits, and you had that eagle vision, and you were using the animus, you know, like you're doing the separate missions, like where you were going when he was trapped in the animus kind of thing.
Yeah.
They were interesting, albeit a bit boring at times, but they were still interesting. And it just feels like they were cut off, and we've had nothing to do with the spirits, nothing to do with that, you know, kind of. And it's gone on too long, and you know, there's other series that could easily go on, and they just haven't. And it makes me sad that Ubisoft, as usual, much like with Splinter Cell, are just milking the cash cow.
Well, so this is what annoys me. On the first game with Desmond, when he was in the place and it was really quiet, and then they'd come in every now and again, was creepy.
Yeah.
Because it was like, where is he? What is?
Yeah.
Why isn't anyone in there? Why does this person keep walking in and then walking out again? You know,
yeah.
Why are we going in the animus? And it was something really creepy and dark about it. And then they got to this point. I don't think it was in the same game. It was after. Excuse me if I'm wrong, because I played it in ages. The other one.
No, I'll be just as vague. So.
To escape from the Templars. And I remember escaping and running through this warehouse and getting. I think it was in the back of a van.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, this just looks utter garbage when it's in today's day.
Yeah.
You know? But when you go back in time to like Enzo, Altier and that, you're like, well, this is cool. And something I don't like about Uni was it was very misleading on the trailers. On the trailers, they made it sound like you actually had a proper team. Now, I'm guessing they were hinting at multiplayer with that, but the point is, it doesn't say that.
No, exactly.
When you watch the trailer, it shows Arno, and it shows all these other people kind of turning up with him. And through the whole game, there's nobody like that.
No. Well, this is what I miss. I mean, as I said before, I miss the fact that you used to train up the other assassins. You know, like when you were playing as Ezio and stuff, you would train up your recruits. You would recruit people in the street that you helped out, and then you would send them on missions across the world and stuff, and they would level up. And then, you know, in the later ones, they had these ceremonies and stuff.
I mean, that's what.
I love that.
I mean, that's what Brotherhood was all about.
Yeah. And I love that. And you know, that felt like, I mean, for a game called Assassin's Creed, that's what made it feel like, you know, the title kind of thing.
But the thing is, I get tired of all these cheap man's Creed people, like Unity, that you ain't got any real assassins in it. You've got one who calls you Piss Pot.
Yeah.
You know, which is the highlight of the whole game for me.
Yeah.
And then you've got the council people, and they don't even look like they do anything.
I know, they just sit there. It's like...
And then when you go in there, you've got all these other people with masks over their face and that, and you don't see through any of the game.
Yeah.
And you're like, it'd be nice to see them running across the rooftop now and again or something.
Well, you know what, I was saying as well, I was saying this to McDonough, that I miss, you know, like running... This game makes running, just taking the roofs, far too easy. You used to have a problem where you would go along and every roof here and there, they would have a guard up on the roof. Nothing. Who's going to run around in the street where there's guards watching you run past all the time if you can just lazily go up on the roof and not be picked on?
I see guards on the roof, but not like how they used to be. You used to get a guard on nearly every rooftop, every few meters away.
Usually you only get them on the roof now if you're in a mission. You know, like when they're watching over an area.
Right. So it kind of annoys me because you're sitting there going, it's like that, like you said about the hook thing. Why don't you have that anymore? Why can't you whistle anymore?
Yeah, I'm fed up of keep going in hail bales and I can't attract attention.
You know, you can't whistle. You can't call in your buddies to come and kill somebody.
And also, as we said before, the problem is, and I know I said as well, they've put too much effort into creating these huge crowds of angry French people that are the most Cornish people you've ever heard speak. But they've put so much effort into putting the processing power into creating these crowds that they've had to trim out any of the decent mechanics to make the gameplay work. I mean, look how glitched the graphics are.
I want to meet a French person and ask them to say, I want to make wholesome jam out of you. Because
Oh yeah,
never
I'm,
say
I'm going to shout in a French person's face, I'm going to mash you like an old potato.
that. I just think it's ridiculous because there's nothing French about that.
No,
You know?
exactly.
But,
But that is the thing, and also now, I know we've said it, games now, they obviously borrow from each other and stuff like that. But seriously, I know they're the same company, but if I see one more mechanic in Assassin's Creed stolen off Splinter Cell, I'm going to scream.
well, I remember seeing the whole thing and going for hold on, this is like Splinter Cell.
Yeah,
And I
the
was,
pulling people out the windows, the shadowed thing about where you were last seen.
to me, it shouts, oh, let's just make the same game but in a different environment.
Yeah. Well, look, they've kind of got it with Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. It's Assassin's Creed, but in Mordor.
Oh, I miss helping people because you help people. I mean, you can help people now in the game, but after you help them, they just walk off, and you're like,
Yeah.
see, in Black Flag, that's what I like about Black Flag. Kenway, was it?
Yeah.
I'll board your ship. But they never joined the assassins either, except for the guy who used to be a slave.
Yeah.
And I used to love how angry he'd get with Kenway. Oh, Kenway, you cannot do this.
But again, they weren't, like you say, they weren't assassins. They were pirates. They weren't,
No.
they just followed Kenway, and Kenway wasn't allegiance to the assassins. He was just sorry, I'm echoing.
No, that's all right. I'm not meaning to talk over you either. It's probably the connection thing.
Yeah.
The thing that annoyed me with Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I'm not going to go about the end, I'm going to go on about the gameplay.
Yeah.
Was you're playing as Kenway, right? You end up owning this whole island,
Yeah.
right? With all these pirates, yet you can't communicate with practically any of them. you get into these random bar fights once to get a trophy, right?
Yeah.
You get on your ship, you drive around, and the one thing I hated was the battles. In number 3, I absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
In Black Flag, they were awful. I got tired of trying to blow the ship up, trying to get aboard, killing people. It didn't feel like there was any effort in it. It felt
It was so repetitive.
yeah, exactly. Like there's this last mission, right, where you've got to get past 2 boats.
Yeah.
I kept getting blown to smithereens, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I did? I got out the boat, I jumped in the water, and I swam under the water. I came out every now and again, swam back down again, and got on them and killed everybody, and then just swam through.
Yeah, I did that. I killed everybody on a ship before the mission properly started. I killed everybody on the mission started, and they were all dead. And all I had to do was just get back on the boat, and then.
So what I used to do is, if I could, I'd get my boat and I'd get so it would hit the other boat and run and jump over so I could kill them instead of it going straight into battle.
Right, yeah.
Because I got tired of just doing the same old thing over and over again. When you go on the ocean, that's what you feel like it is. You feel like you've got to avoid people because it's like one boat fight after another and it just gets boring.
Well, once I unlocked the fast travels, I was just like, yeah, I'm just fast traveling. It got so... I loved... Like you said, the thing is, when they had it in free, it was a change. As we said, like, with Borderlands and other games, it was a nice change up to go out on the sea and stuff. But when to make it all about that was wrong. And it makes me sad that they, obviously they're doing it again with Rogue. But it's just like... That's not what and like you say, it just got so boring. And I loved being out on the seas for a while, but after like the 10-hour mark, I was like, fast travel.
Well, that's the thing. I was doing the same thing practically, because as you know, I normally play with Donna quite a bit.
Yeah.
And here we go.
You and Donna's just sat there going, okay.
So I'm sitting there and I'm playing these games, and I'm like, because basically me and Donna played 3. Black Flag and Unity together.
Yeah.
And I told her when we get the PS3 or Xbox, whatever one we get, we'll play the original ones as well together.
Yeah.
Even though I've played them all before. And the annoying thing is going to be the mechanics. I'm going to be like, I can do this. And I'm going to be like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can do this. No, I can't.
That was the thing after the hook plague went. The game after, I was like, I can do that. Oh, I can't. I fell to my death.
Well, I got tired of Black Flag so easily. It's like we said, it's a pirates game with the Assassin's Creed idea. But
yeah,
when you
it's
go
Pirates
on,
of the Caribbean with the Assassin's Creed franchise.
what was that guy's name? The boy who turned out to be a woman.
Oh,
Kid. That's it.
yeah.
I got so fed up because Kid was like, "Oh, you've got to come and see the assassins," and you finally do, and you sit there and you're like, "But you don't do anything with them."
Even funnier, it was supposed to be a big revelation, and I'm sat there going, "Yeah, I totally knew that was a girl from the beginning."
So did I. You could just tell by the way it was, by the way the person was. And then there's this whole thing about you've got to come and help the assassins, Kenway. And you're like, no, because nothing's going on between the assassins and Kenway.
No, exactly. There was nothing. He only had anything to do with him because there was one that was on the island and he stole his stuff.
It felt like playing Grand Theft Auto and and helping like the Haitians in the Vice City. They weren't important in the story, but they were there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
That's why I know I've said it time and time again, but in a game called Assassin's Creed, it shouldn't feel like the assassins are just there for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like number 3.
Yeah, everybody disses it. I liked 3.
I
missed the bow. I'm really pissed off with the lack of weapons in this game, in Unity. It's like guns and swords, and that's it. There's no, like, real... I know you've got the crossbow on your, the blade, phantom blade, but there's not... I liked the whole bow mechanic kind of thing.
I don't like brain dead.
Sorry.
Anyway, going back to number 3. Well, I'll think of that. And I'll go back to when I remember.
Yeah.
I like number 3. When you start off as halfway, I was like, oh, you know what? Seems quite interesting. When you saw the conclusion, I was like, wow, yeah, I'm in the game now. Right?
Yeah.
Then we get meet Connor as a wee lad, right?
Yeah.
And you're hunting with your friends and playing hide and seek and all this, and I'm like... And then when you ate Shark, I actually thought Connor was quite a badass. I really did.
Yeah.
The whole Native American thing was really, really cool.
I liked as well the whole searching for clues. And again, that was another thing that was kind of dumped.
Yeah, I have to admit though, the one thing I didn't like was when you had to follow that person in the snow. I lost them for 2 hours. Then all of a sudden found them. And then all of a sudden they just popped up and I was like, oh, thank God.
It's like playing The Last of Us when you have to hunt down that bloody deer in the snow. It's like...
I wanted to kill Hathaway.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kill him last. I didn't want to kill Charlie last. I wanted to kill Hathaway. Because I wanted to do that father-son kind of epic fight. Mm. You know, I'm an assassin. You're this. It was like in Unity with Elise and Arno. And you're sitting there and you're like, wow, this could have worked out a lot better.
Yeah, I haven't got to the end yet, so I don't know. I know she's a Templar, but
I'm saying it could have worked out a lot better. When you finish the game, you'll see what I mean. It's kind of falls flat.
It's disappointing and false, is it?
Yeah. You'll have to let me know what you think, when you complete it.
Yeah.
When you find out Arno is going to go and have a sex change, right?
Yeah.
And but technically he's actually a lace, and it's all in his mind. You're like, oh. No,
is this when we find out that actually he's the girl from Black Flag?
There you go. There you go. Right. But seriously, the actual story falls really flat for me.
Yeah.
But I feel that way about every Assassin's Creed, though. But they all kind of have big potential, and then all of a sudden they just fall flat completely.
Yeah.
You know, and I love number 3, but the whole fact that you're going against Charlie at the end, to me, just made it rubbish. It should have been Hathaway. It should have been because the father versus son, and that you can't beat him because he's too good, right? And that he ends up making one mistake, like you end up going on like that. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And then him dying in your arms, telling you the secret of what he knows or something, but whispering it in your ear.
Exactly.
You know, because not since the first one have I felt that the Templars are actually that scary.
No, I know.
I mean,
They're not.
in the first one, the Templars were actually quite menacing.
Yeah.
And they were all over the place, and they had these great armor suits on and everything.
Yeah.
And now it's like, so what's so bad about the Templars? Were the people in red in this game supposed to be Templars? Because if so, that's boring. They look more like rebels.
Yeah. Well, they weren't always wearing red, and to be honest, I found them more annoying because some of them were just bloody annoying, like the big ones with the big axes and the, as we joked, the ones with hats. And the buttholes that keep shooting you.
Oh. I love how when you run straight towards them, they still get a shot in.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like you put your gun down, mate, and you want to be careful. You won't go.
It wouldn't be so bad if one shot didn't take out like 90% of your health.
Yeah, I hate that at all. And the thing is, it ain't even on a difficulty setting either. So it's like.
No, yeah.
To this day, my favourite still is number 1.
Yeah.
I love being Altier, the one where you have to kind of go against the master.
Yeah.
And your master
My favourite ones are like all of them up to Revelations, and then they just start to slope off after that.
I would say my favourite one's the first one, but my favourite character's Enzio.
Yeah.
Because I felt like you really got to grow with Enzio. It wasn't like, oh, he's in one game, see you later. It was, he became a young lad. And Arno and Enzio are a lot alike.
Yeah.
The way they started out. But Arno, to me, seems a little bit more not as with it as Enzio was.
Yeah. I got Ezio in my arcade block today, so...
Oh, you got the Funko Pop with him in? Because someone got, I think it was the female one, in Libertine.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, because there was like 8 different ones you could get.
Yeah, there was a big, good chunk of them that you could get. It was just... I
want to get an Assassin's Creed Funko Pop in the future. I just want to make sure I get the...
You could get Connor, the woman out of that. You could get Altair, and you could get Kenway, and some strange guard thing. Whatever that is. No, exactly. But I got the Ezio one, so I was happy.
Like me when I'm ill.
Yeah.
But I just sit there and I'm like, because with Enzio, like I said, you grew with him. You saw him die.
Yeah.
And it felt like you had a real relationship with this character.
Yeah.
With Altier, it was like, oh, we're not going to play him again except for one mission in number 2, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get to play as Connor again or Kenway, and probably not even get to play as Arno again. And you just sit there going, so what's the point in playing these characters? I know Sketchney's where to find out where like the Eden is and that.
Yeah.
But, so we've got the Apple of Eden, we've got the Sword of Eden. Oh, is this supposed to be telling us that we're going to be going to the Garden of Eden?
Yeah. The next game is just going to be Expanse Grass. It's just like fields and fields.
I don't know where they're going with this.
No.
And it's getting on my nerves because how many games has it been? 8, 9?
Well, you had 3, 5, 6, 7.
7.
8. Yeah, 8. No, you're right. 8, yeah.
By now we should know who those creatures are. We should know what they want. And I know it's spoken to us a few times in different games, but we should have an actual basis of actually who they are instead of going, oh, they're aliens.
Well, this is the thing. Rogue, which is supposed to be an add-on for Black Flag, has got, again, a completely different lead character.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. It would have been nice to... They could have continued with Kenway or something, but they didn't.
See, that's what I liked with Grand Theft Auto 4. The expansion packs had characters you saw in the game.
Yeah.
Like the biker, and then Lewis.
Yeah.
I always call him Lewis.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But you actually get to play as them. They're not big characters, but you see them through the game.
Yeah.
So you know them. So they're actually there. With these characters, Assassin's Creed, I'd like to see one where basically Arno and Enzio team up. Even though they're probably in different years. I like
Yeah.
something like that where you meet an assassin, and that assassin becomes the assassin you play as in the next game, who works with that assassin you were in the old game again. So that
Yeah.
actually brings it together. Because they all look like separate games that really make no sense other than the whole Eden stuff.
But this is why I say my favourite ones are everything up to Revelations, because, like you say, we had Ezio and we had Outer Air, and there was that connection between the two. Whereas since then, we've essentially changed into a different series of games.
Yeah.
It's like you've got pre-Assassin's Creed 3 and after, from Assassin's Creed 3, because, like you say, we've got those completely different characters. We don't have Desmond anymore. We have the random, Abstergo stuff, and you're just like, okay. And it's like I say, it's completely two different franchises, because whereas you had those two main characters through the first 4 games, since then it's like watching Doctor Who. It's like getting completely different characters.
Well, this is the thing. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting tired of this whole Abstergo thing.
Yeah.
Because people complained about getting pulled out of it and being in this world thing. But now you get to be in these helix-like rift things where you have to run through the portal. And it's so bloody annoying. I don't want to feel like I have to run to the top of France's Eiffel Tower to get away. I want to just play the game. Let me play the game. Stop the woman talking to me. She doesn't matter because she's not in the game.
Pants off me. Yeah.
I hate when all of a sudden it starts looking like it's freezing up, and then it says that, and I'm like, oh, just let me kill people. Let me kill. Let me maim. Let me blood and gore everywhere. Let me get off with a lease. Whatever. I don't want to listen to you. Yeah. It's annoying. And the franchise is dying bit by bit. I mean, I'm interested to see what Rogue's like, because I heard in Rogue, assassins constantly try and kill you, so they're not hiding in bushes and stuff.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, that would be actually quite a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to see it from the other point of view where assassins try and attack you.
But even that, I've heard, isn't that bad. Apparently they're not as much of a threat as you think they're going to be, so I'll be interested to see what that's like. But
I remember I think it was Black Flag, all of a sudden these weird kind of Arabian people would try and kill you all of a sudden. Right?
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting there with Don, I was getting a contract, and all of a sudden this guy jumped, and I just basically killed him in one thing like that. And she said, "How did you know he was there?" I said, "I didn't. I just heard the bloke jump down, and I was like, oh, I guess I pressed the button." And they weren't trouble at all. They were just like, boom, dead.
Yeah, but look how much we've said combat in Unity is basically just keep smashing the square button.
Yeah, exactly. And it just, in the other games you had different things you could do.
Yeah.
But they've took so much away from the game, which they're probably going to add in the next game.
Yeah.
But why can't you whistle in the bushes? It makes it harder. I can't whistle in a haystack anymore.
Yeah. It was nice when you could attract attention, and now you've got to wait for them. And it used to be you would wait for them to come up to the haystack, and then you'd pull them in and all that stuff. But they don't barely ever come near the haystacks anymore.
Now when you jump down, you assassinate one or two people, and then they all go after you.
Yeah, exactly.
Annoying.
Mm.
So anyway, our little rant about Assassin's Creed franchise.
Yeah.
So let's get started with the main topic.
Yeah.
While we've got time, otherwise we could make this all Assassin's Creed and.
Yeah. We could go on about this forever. It's like I say, I could moan about the glitches and everything in this new game forever.
I'll be honest with you, the glitches. I've noticed the glitches more and more since I've been playing.
I'm fed up of a game that's on a disc that keeps then going, oh, there has been an error with this application, and crashing while we were playing co-op. It's like
I don't like that it has to be uploaded onto the console.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah, sorry, we can talk about all the choices.
So we were going to talk about TV shows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you bring the first one up, and then I'll start saying some as well.
Well, what are you thinking? Like when you were younger, or?
This is any time, so I can go from being a kid to being now, anytime. It can be before you're even born. A show you like. So basically, every show's out there. Like you can go from say like Goosebumps all the
Yeah.
way up until like X-Files, anything.
You know what? It's amazing because I don't consider myself somebody who watches much TV. But when I think, because I was a kid of the 80s, and the shows that we had were amazing, and especially when you see what kids have today, it's really disheartening because it's like you didn't. I mean, obviously, a lot of stuff. When you look back on a lot of that stuff, it's as cheesy as all hell. I mean, my God, He-Man was. I always used to joke. I always hated He-Man in that he was cheesy and gayest haircut ever. Not that there's anything wrong with gay haircuts, but I'm just saying. But you know what? I hated more She-Ra. Even as a child, I was like, she's a slut. I hated She-Ra. I was just like, it annoyed me because, I mean, I was a tomboy anyway, so I liked all the stuff like Thundercats, Transformers, Visionaries, Defenders of the Earth. I wasn't into all the girly stuff. I mean, even like My Little Pony, the only thing I liked in My Little Pony was the little dragon that they had called Spike. That was all I liked about that show. My mum got me this My Little Pony like palace set, and it came with a unicorn and a dragon, and I played with the dragon all the time. But yeah, no, it makes me sad when you see like programs now that the kids have that, you know. I mean, we had Animaniacs and.
Well, you see shows like iCarly, for instance, alright?
Yeah.
And it's all about being stupid and it's all about being dumbed down. There's no real intelligence to it. Like, I remember as a kid watching, you know, a show similar, like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
And Saved by the Bell, it taught you something every week.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that was right in your face, and it was silly, but it was silly in the right ways.
Yeah.
In iCarly, I watched an episode once where this girl was stalking them. She locks them up. Gibby comes running through the door, smashing it in, and then he tackles on the floor and lets them all go. And you're sitting there going, what? You know, nobody got stalked and kidnapped in Saved by the Bell. You know.
Yeah.
And you just sit there going. And like you said, Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and stuff.
Oh, I loved how the double entendres and that adults and children could enjoy it because it would go over children's heads, but parents would be sat there going, "That's so funny." Kind of like The Simpsons and that, you know, or whatever.
Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain were clever. They were smart. They were things that made your minds grow. Yeah. I feel like shows like iCarly and Victorious and all that other garbage, right? Like.
The lady who used to be a carer for me, she would bring like her 5-year-old round, and they'd put on Disney for her to watch. And I tell you, I got exposed to so much of that rubbish, and I was just like, and all it was basically was the idea is to shove the kid in front of the TV and leave them watching it. Whereas, like you say, they used to make you think.
So this is the thing. When I was a kid, my mum used to let me watch a lot of kids shows.
Yeah.
At that time, I mean, I always feel like I was in a great era because I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 80s coming on.
Yeah.
I'd Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark, right? And you know, they were good shows at the time.
Yeah.
You know? What else was there? Oh, Secret World of Alex Mack, Kenan and Kel,
Power Rangers.
Yeah. It was great because even though some of them were getting to that point where they were really stupid, there was always a life lesson in there.
Yeah.
Especially Sister Sister. Sister Sister to this day is one of my favourite shows of all time because it was one of those black comedies, you know, where they were basically a whole black family, and they'd have a friend called Roger who was in love with both of them because they were twins, and they'd go home, Roger. You know, usual stuff that happens. Yeah. And they'd always have like a white friend who was like obsessed with trying to be a black girl, and you'd sit there going, okay, this is a bit weird. But it was one of those shows like, oh, and the fact that they never had a white boyfriend or anything, and it always felt very racist. Yeah. But at the same time, it was very much fun. That's what the 90s were about. If you think about the 90s.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and stuff, like you say, there was a lot of that kind of stuff.
Great joke in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where he goes, "What's your name?" And the little guy goes, "You can call me Whitey." And
Yeah.
Will Smith goes, "I'd rather not." You're like, because you're like, I get the joke here,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of black comedies in the 90s. There was
Yeah.
loads, and now they're practically dead. You rarely see any,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And I think that's got to do with the whole racial stuff.
Well,
Um,
it's become like, like The Walking Dead is renowned for. I mean, it's gotten better like this last year, but The Walking Dead for the first 3 seasons was known as the show with the token black guy, because you would have one, and then they would bring somebody else in, and the previous one would get killed off, and it would repeat over and over again. And I met a bunch of them at the Comic-Con this year, and I did mention it to a couple of them. I was like, were you ever, conscientious of the fact that this was a thing? And they were like, yeah, it was something that they'd kind of noticed, but unfortunately it's something that they can't control kind of thing. So,
you know what they should have said, didn't you? You know what the bloke should have said? "I don't care, fool. I've got my Mr. T. I got my Mr. T jewelry on. I don't care."
yeah.
I'm getting paid for this.
Yeah, I'm getting But no, I completely agree. It is that thing,
You know, I'm a big fan of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm a big fan of Sister Sister and all those shows.
Yeah.
My Wife and Kids, And I like them. I think they're great, but they're very of their time.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't. I watch them now, and I'm like, I love Sister Sister because to me, Sister Sister can never date. But Fresh Prince of Bel-Air does date badly, especially the bad video footage of it.
Yeah.
Sister Sister only had season 1 and 2 come out on DVD, and I own both of them. And it's not released anymore, so I had to illegally download, yes, pirates, illegally download the whole series to be able to watch it again. It always annoys me, that.
Well, it's like, there was a brilliant show, called Reboot back early 90s, I think it was. And it used, it was like one of the first shows that used like this CGI kind of animation kind of thing. It wasn't like, it was so different because obviously we were used to these cartoons or puppets kind of thing, but it was all like computer generated, and it had amazing kind of, I loved how everything referred to stuff inside a computer, like bytes and stuff like that. And as somebody who was into the computers, and somebody who got it even at a young age, I was like, that's so funny. But the point is you can find it on Region 1 DVD, but it has not been released on Region 2 at all. And it's so annoying because I would love to get that. And, the thing is I've got the game, the old PS1 game of it. And I would love to, I'd love to do a review and then show like decent quality clips from the actual show in the review. But it's just impossible to get.
Well,
they didn't even release it. It's like, but not even many people seem to remember it existed, kind of thing.
Well, what you need to do is nearby the Region 1 one and download the DVD Region Cracker to get rid of the region, and then you can point in your console or your player.
Yeah, exactly.
Without having to change the region.
But I do hate that when you get these good shows that just get, forgotten and stuff.
Well, a good great show that nobody talks about is Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, yeah.
Where on earth is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego. I love that show. I used to, every time it came on when I was a kid, I used to jump around, dance around the living room while it was on, because I loved the theme tune of it. And then they made something else, like Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego, which has sucked. But I bought the whole collection of it on DVD for $5, right?
Yeah.
But it's a cheap set. It's one of those where you get like 20 episodes on one disc.
Is it like bootlegged or that, or is it just?
It's an actual product, but it's one of those cheap creations. I like Mill Creek and that are. And it's like that. In the original series, the first series of the original one, it had a 3-disc release with the first 13 episodes on. Great.
Yeah.
They never released any more until this set, which has them all on. And then, weirdly enough, it has a bonus movie on one of the discs, get this, of the Secret Garden. And I'm sitting there going,
okay.
What's it got to do with the show? It's like, we're putting it on there, so people go, oh, special feature. But it's me, it takes up the space of the actual shows.
Yeah.
But I love that show. It's the love where they used to go through different places and picking up these things, and you'd learn things about them. Like you'd learn about the pharaohs, you'd learn about the Eiffel Tower and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because it was one of those action-packed shows.
It was one of those, yeah.
Where you just kept learning things more and more and more about things.
Yeah.
While you didn't even realise you were doing it because you were watching a cool show.
Yeah, but it didn't feel, like you say, you were learning stuff, but it didn't feel like it was either trying to hammer it in your head or be condescending, say like something like Captain Planet or that, you know. It's, it felt like it was just giving you that info.
I mean, one of my other favourite shows, which was actually a TV game show, was Funhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Funhouse, a whole
lot of fun, prizes to be won. It's a real crazy show where anything goes.
When I was a kid, don't tell anyone about this. I was obsessed with Pat Sharp, right?
Oh, really?
Pat Sharp was my hero.
Was it the mullet? Did it just do it for you?
He came to my local community centre, right?
Oh.
Right? And I actually ran up to him and started going, as a kid, right? And I was obsessed with the guy.
Yeah.
And I'd sign pictures of him on my wall, like some heartful female teenager. Oh, Pat Sharp, right?
Yeah.
And then when I think about it, I'm like,
you know, not the hot chicks that were there, you know, not the helping twins or, you know.
Pat Sharp. He was on my wall in a framed picture, but I'd look at it and go, Then when I think about myself, I think, wow, I'm so glad that was when I was like 7, 8, and not when I was like 12 or 13. Otherwise, some people would have said...
Some people would have said, yeah.
Some people would have said, I think there's something wrong with your son over there.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah, I was obsessed with the guy.
I didn't like it when they got somebody else to do it, but...
To be honest with you, I heard they were bringing the show back.
Well, it's like you were saying, because great shows like Nightmare and Crystal Maze, it does annoy me to think that they'll be bringing back the Crystal Maze. Nightmare is one of those shows that I love to bits. I always hated it because I would end up sitting there at the TV show shouting at the kids, but I didn't have any friends to go on the show myself. I was like, oh, we can show, you know, but I didn't have any friends to go with me. So it always annoyed me because I'd end up sitting there in front of the TV just going, oh, you bloody just...
This is what always got me with Nightmare. The kids always look so brain dead.
Yeah.
They couldn't even spell. What's your name? My name's Tom. Andrew. Jack. And they'd sit there going, have some expression. And then they'd be like, turn left, turn right, do a little bit of this. Oh, I've got to spell flame. F.
A. S. L. Yeah.
It'd be like flame simple. And these people are like 12, 13, and you're like,
yeah, they were like 5.
All this stuff.
I always stuck to the riddles, the ones that the wall gave.
I actually found them quite simple.
Oh, really?
I've always been quite good with riddles, normally. I found it quite simple when I was a kid. But then saying that, I always had to confirm it with my mum. Like, is that the thing? She'd go. and then it'd either be right or wrong.
I think that kind of show lends itself to would be good in today's technology, but at the same time, I'm like.
But then I think a big part of the reason it still succeeds is because of how older it looks. You know, at the time of it looks the way it does, because it actually looks like it would be something that might have happened back then to us now, because we can't imagine a world without, you know, green screens and stuff. So we think, oh wow, that was like 1,000,000 years ago now. That's cool. You know, I used to love when people used to fall down the black holes. And
I know, I always got confused. I knew even as a kid that they were in a green screen room and all that stuff, so it wasn't real. But when you did the whole like falling, I was like, my kid brain couldn't understand it. I was like, well, how do they do that? Because they weren't they're not falling. So how are they? And obviously it's just a still image of them, you know, like being. But it was just so.
Some of the things they had to do was like so silly. Like, oh, quick, get away from the spider. He's taking your life, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, this, and he'd go, oh.
When you got Traegard in the back, you got the Traegard beard going on. That's the best thing.
Okay. Oh, your beard thing was so true. The beard thing. I was looking, I was like, wow, this is mostly true, what it says.
I saw
And
it and I was like, oh, Malcolm's gonna love that. And just
I did. I just thought it was great. But I'm sitting there and I'd love it. I'd love to be on Nightmare. I'd love to be the guy who sits in the chair so I could just keep annoying them by going, come on,
yeah.
guys, the spider's getting closer. And
And he's like, you've got to keep moving, and they just stood there going, just sidestep to your right. He's like, time, the platforms are falling and that, and he's like, but it was always, the best bit was always when they died, and he was like, ooh, nasty. It's like, wow, how evil is he?
what about this bit though, when he used to say things like this? Oh, there's an evil jester over there. Be careful. Make the right decision, guys.
You know what, they wouldn't get away with stuff like that now, because it was seen as paedophilia and all that stuff.
Look,
But the worst one, there was a TV show, kind of in the same vein as Nightmare, called Incredible Games. I don't know if you ever saw it. And they were like in this lift, and they would go through levels, and they would have to go off and do these challenges. Like kind of Crystal Maze and that as well.
Actually, I think I have. I don't remember it, but I remember the lift.
Yeah. Do you ever remember the end round always ended up with them like in this bowl of cereal where they'd have to collect stuff?
I remember it. Do you know what? This is the show I can't remember the name of.
Oh,
And
right,
the
no, it was
things were
Incredible
always bigger
Games.
than they were. The thing were always bigger than they were. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But the worst thing about that show, well, not the worst, but if it was seen today, seriously, you would have so many complaints. Because there was this one round where they had to go around like this chessboard, and there was this black knight. And they had to move around, they had to take steps to avoid getting caught by the Black Knight. And if he caught them, you take like turns each. If he landed on the same square or the one in front of him or something, he would open up his cloak and engulf this small child inside. How wrong would that be now? Seriously, that wouldn't be allowed. Mind you, this was on the BBC, and we know from, we're just learning how perverse they are at the BBC, but yeah, it just makes me laugh. When you see a lot of stuff, like I say, even now, when I look back at stuff that I watched as a kid, in stuff like Turtles or even some of the Disney cartoons sometimes, you'd just be like, I cannot believe they got away with that.
Well, a big example of that is The Toy with Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah.
He's basically a down on his luck writer, and he ends up being hired by the father of the boy because the boy wants him as his toy.
Yeah.
And they get in the bath together. He holds his hand and everything running about. And you're going, only a movie that could happen in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
If that movie happened now, there'd be no bathing together. There'd be none of the holding hands. There'd be none of this because everybody would be like, oh, was he a paedophile? Is this? And to be honest with you, I think people go a bit over the top on it all.
Did you hear about the Sesame Street box set that you can get?
No.
Okay. So, they released a box set of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning kind of thing, and I don't know how many seasons it was, but basically they put a warning on it to say not suitable for children because it contained subject matter that was appropriate for the time, like like trusting people and being friendly with people and stuff like that. And basically it was telling, it's basically the implication is that then it was okay to talk to strangers, which I get, and obviously it's not now. So basically they're saying Sesame Street from the 1970s is like 15 rated. I'm not even kidding on that. They're like not suitable for children now.
That is ridiculous because why else would you buy it?
Yeah. I guess it's a nostalgic thing, but
I'm going to buy it and sit there and watch Big Bird talking to me.
Yeah.
You've got to go and play with neighbours. You go to strangers. I remember my nan when I was little. She used to say to me, oh, be nice to this kind man. And my mum used to be so paranoid.
Yeah.
I mean, my mum was paranoid beyond relief. She always thought somebody was going to kidnap me, gut me, and then drop me on the doorstep. That's how paranoid she was. Right?
Yeah.
So every time a stranger would talk to me, I'd be like this. I'd be running away. Even if my mum knew her. You'd get people go, oh, I know your mum. And I'd go, no, you don't. And I'd run off, like, . And
Oh my God. Yeah, sorry.
it was such a horrible time because my mum being paranoid like she was helped me in the future, but also made me paranoid about stuff.
Yeah. Oh my
You
God.
know?
Oh my God. We used to always get shown at school. We would constantly be shown these videos. Don't get in a car with strangers. Don't accept sweets from strangers. And I never had anybody try to put me in a car or offer me sweets, and I always thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't get offered things by strangers. And you know what? As bear in mind, I was a lonely little girl with no friends and that, and I was like, wow, even complete strangers want nothing to do with me. I was like, there's something so wrong with me that a stranger won't take me in his car.
Like, it's what I said.
It is that thing, they put that paranoia in you. But the thing is, you see how much Sesame Street now you see the video clips of now Sesame Street, and it talks down to children so badly compared to what it used to. It's like fear-mongering.
Well, that's true. I mean, the problem is now, kids don't listen to shows as much.
No.
Because, like I said, while I lived in England, I was in a flat. And the kids used to always play on the grass outside mine.
Right, yeah.
Little buggers, I hated them. And, I mean, I literally hated them. If anybody wants to know what real hate is, live where they used to make those noises. I used to think every day putting mines in that grass and blowing them the fuck up. Right? Now
that was like that on the green outside our house as well.
Exactly. You want to blow them up because you're like, just shut up, please, trying to relax, you know. So one day I'm sitting in there and I'm like, oh no. All of a sudden it goes really quiet. And I'm like, what? There's this guy going, oh, would you like some sweets? And then this guy, and then he's like, oh, come with me. And I said to him, do you know these kids? So I went out there, because I knew their parents, because I got in arguments with all of them.
Yeah.
Get your effing kid off this grass now, otherwise I'm going to call the police, because they're annoying me. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, I'm this kid's uncle. I went, is he your uncle? And the kid went, no. And I went, I said, you let that kid go. You better let it go. You don't know what you're talking about, mate. So I'm like, let go, otherwise I'm going to hit you in the face, right?
Yeah.
And then I get very confronting with people when I think they're going to hurt a kid, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much I hate a kid. If they're getting in trouble, I'm going to protect them, you know.
You're going to protect them, yeah.
That's why you should be. And so let's go to the kid, and he goes, oh, yeah, what are you going to do about it? So basically I did what any good English person did. I headbutted him in the nose. That was all I did. That's what you do, you know.
Yeah.
Then now his eyes are watering, and he's like, oh, and he's running off. And I'm chasing after him.
You didn't kick him in the gonads.
I'm chasing him up the street, kicking him up the bum, so he falls off and kicking him a few times.
Yeah.
And then I called the police. Right? While I was actually standing there kicking him, I called the police to kick him back because I was friends with a police officer.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I said, look, this guy was trying to kidnap this child over there. The kid has gone home. Can you go over there? Can you talk to the child? This person said that with their uncle. They went, what happened to him? I went, he fell over. Alright?
Yeah.
And the guy who knew me, the police officer, just laughed and went, okay, we'll see if he's got a record. Turned out he did. He'd got out before, and he had got done for basically molesting children.
Jeez, yeah.
In the past. So I was glad I did that, you know. Violence is never the answer, but sometimes, you know, it feels good.
No.
So, you know.
I mean, there's making kids aware, but, you know, you can't, even if they say no or something, you know, it doesn't quite take much for a fully grown man or whatever to snatch a child. You know, like, just pick him up if he wants to.
You know, you can, I mean, any one of those kids, the little ones anyway, I could have picked up and run down the street with, and it's like holding hold of a cat, basically, you know, can hurt you, but you ain't going to let go of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So it's one of those things that I don't get now with kids shows, because going back to shows, because we're on subject.
Yeah.
I don't get why they have to talk down to kids, because if you look at kids now, and I feel so bad for people now that are like 14, 15, because they're so brain dead in a lot of cases, because they haven't got anything that builds their mind.
Yeah.
Back to school. Oh, we're going to mess about with our friends. Okay. I'm going to watch school TV. Oh, look, there's Melissa Cosgrove putting on a moustache and talking to a chicken. Oh, this is great. This makes me feel good. You know what I mean?
But I miss, you know what I miss most? Saturday programming.
Yeah.
You had the morning shows for the kids, you know, like going live and kicking.
Live kicking. I remember that.
Yeah. And then you had in the evening you had Noel's house party. Yep. You bet, stars in their eyes. Yeah.
And the lottery was fun back then as well. Mystic Meg going.
Yeah. Oh, that was always. Yeah, but then you had the Brian Connolly show, his comedy show, where he did his septic leg or whatever it was when he took the piss out of her. I see 2 eyes. No.
I remember that. And he used to shout, "It's a puppet."
Yeah, it's a puppet. Yeah.
That program used to be
classic programming.
I mean, how can you not like Noel's house party? I mean, Mr. Blobby and all this other stuff, and the original thing where you used to get into the container full of money and grab hold of it.
Yeah.
I actually went to see that.
I've been watching back. It's funny because I've been watching back like the Gotchas.
Yeah.
Which were amazing. I always loved those. But it's funny because they did several where they did up this fake tour, bus tour that they wanted celebrities to like cut the ribbon on, but around Basingstoke. And as somebody who now lives close to Basingstoke, I'm like, that's hilarious.
Well, I actually went to a live kind of house party show.
Oh, really?
They had one outside somewhere, and he was there, you know.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Same thing, and Mr. Blobby was there, and it was like, you know, like one of those party things you go to.
Yeah.
And I went with my grandma, and they threw all this like Mr. Blobby stuff out. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, look, grandma, I'm gonna get something. Put my hand down. So what somebody do? They tread back right on my hand.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah. So basically, I'm crying for hours because I was a little kid, you know.
Yeah.
Are you in pain, mate? No, I didn't get my Mr. Blobby stuff. You know. And I think about it now and I think, wow, again, something so of the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, you know, Noel's house party wouldn't work now.
No.
I mean,
it's all reality TV now. You've got your Come Dine, Come Dine with Me as well, but Strictly Come Dancing, I'm a Celebrity, X Factor, Britain's Got Talent.
No, I don't mind Britain's Got Talent and X Factor. When they get past the auditions, I enjoy listening to the songs and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
But I hate I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here and all that Big Brother stuff because I want real TV. It's not real TV. Most of them now are just actors in a house pretending to be able to pretend to be fake people. You know?
That's why I like Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway because it's kind of akin to what we used to have with that evening television scheduling kind of thing.
I remember when they used to mess around with Jeremy Beadle.
Yeah.
They actually died, didn't they?
Yeah.
Watch out, Beadle's about.
Beadle's about, yeah.
And it didn't he do the original? Oh, what was that called? The one with the video clips.
You've Been Framed.
Yeah, You've Been Framed. He used to do that in all, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that originally.
Yeah. I love Jeremy Beadle, and I like Saturday Night Takeaway because I like how they change up the games and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's different. It's a nice, good 90-minute kind of, like you say, it's variety. It's proper variety TV, which is what we used to have.
Well, one of the things I really miss is, like you mentioned, the Saturday morning TV. I used to get up every Saturday and I'd watch Live and Kicking, I'd have the magazine, and it was Zoe Ball, wasn't it?
Zoe Ball did, with, what's his face?
Can't remember the bloke's name.
God, Kenny Feakston.
Was it Kenny Feakston?
Jamie Feakston.
Jamie Feakston. I was going to say, it didn't sound like being called Kenneth.
No, Jamie. Yeah.
I thought it was sounding like that, but I can't remember.
But as a kid, I had Philip Schofield and Sarah Green on Going Live, so it's like...
I remember getting, and this might make me sound so ridiculous now, I remember getting the Live and Kicking magazine, and you had this Live and Kicking yellow pencil,
Oh yeah.
She carried around with me all the time. And one day I looked at it and I went like this. Wow, this is gay, and I threw it in the bin like that. And I was like, but before that I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I've got this. I'm a part of the live and kicking crew. You know. And
Did you used to get the magazine?
I got magazine every time it came out. Every
Yeah.
time. Used to get my mum to, and this was when shops were really newsagents.
When you actually had news agents, there's a strange concept.
I remember going down Ripple Road in Barking, before all the chicken shops, before all the chip shops, there was this one big newsagent. So we'd go in there, you'd go, oh, there's all these different papers laid out, and you'd have the bowls of drink and other stuff, and it felt like you were really going in somewhere unique.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now it's a laundrette, it's a chicken shop, it's a cafe, and it's another chip shop.
Yeah.
I remember going into Mr. Patel's, which was on the other side of Ripple Road, right by my mum's. I had never really went out on my own as a kid because I was scared of being raped and butchered because of what my mum would say.
Oh yeah, this is what happens, if you go out the house.
So I said, I'm going to try going across the road. And mum went, here you go, here's a couple of quid, buy yourself some stuff. But I'm going to be watching out the window, alright? Yeah. Well, I always want to say, because you'd never get downstairs by the time they took me and I was gone. But anyway, so I remember walking over to Mr. Patel's. At this time, Mr. Patel's was a tiny shop.
Yeah.
It would get expanded later on and be a big, massive shop now. But back then, it was small.
But back then, it was one of those convenience stores,
It was a small store. You went in there, you got your wacky backy, you got your drink, got your milk, the proper.
Yeah.
And to this day, I remember going in there and there was an X-Files magazine reduced to 50p. And I remember picking that up and I remember reading that and never understand what X-Files was at the time. I was like, oh, I get this because it's 50p. Oh, it's called X-Files. I ain't got a clue what this is, but I'll read it anyway. But back then, you'd go in the newsagents like that, and you'd have these VHSs.
Oh yeah, your rentals and stuff. Yeah.
You'd have either rentals or you'd have the VHSs for sale in this small little box thing.
Yeah.
Right. And they used to have 3 Jackie Chans in these cardboard boxes, like just 3 tapes stacked together. No cases, just 3 tapes in a cardboard box.
Oh, really? Just tape? Yeah.
And I remember looking at it, I said, Mum, please buy one for me, Mum, please buy one for me. And she did. Right? And I remember watching them, I used to be like, because I was so in love with them,
Yeah.
And it was such an amazing time. I miss those times. I think myself, so much has been lost to people,
Well, you go to the convenience store now, and it's like a blinking mini supermarket.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, we the corner shop down from our house. You'd go down there, and like you say, you'd get your. We had a separate newsagents from the. They did do like some newspapers, but not. There was like 3 doors down. There was the newsagents kind of thing. But like you say, the corner shop was this tiny little thing, and you got your booze, you got your milk, you got your wacky backy and all that, and that was it. Kind of. It was the mere, really tiny basics. Now you go in what's called a convenience store, and like I say, it's like a Tesco Metro or something.
This is it. I remember, like you just said, about every time you'd have your milk in there, you'd have your butter in there, you'd have just a small little freezer with a few bits in there, like a microwave meal or something.
Yeah.
And then you'd have these magazines and stuff, and it was a beautiful time, right?
Yeah.
People now will never understand what type of time that was.
No.
It's like there was one down the road, further down, and he was a video rental store. And he would sell the odd film, after he's finished with them, like if he wanted to sell them. And he had this massive shop section, like in the old shops of sweet shops, where you'd have them in the plastic containers.
Yeah.
And they'd pour them onto the weight thing.
Pour them on it, yeah.
He used to do that. And that was, to this day, that was my favourite place to go, because I used to love going there every single week and getting jazzes. Right? That was the highlight. That was one of my highlights of my childhood.
Oh, our newsagents, you know, it had the magazines, it had the newspapers, but then you had like you say, at the desk, you had all the sweets, the pick-a-mix, and now, you know, you can get pick-a-mix from Tesco's and Wilco's and everything like that. But then, to go to the newsagents was such a special thing, to get your sweets and your, you know, kind of that kind of thing.
That's the thing, though. Even though you can get them for Tesco stuff, it's not the same.
No,
right?
it's not the same as getting, you know, to go where you would go, oh, I want a couple of those, and a couple of those, and you know.
You know, getting it in that bag and then the person swinging it around.
Yeah, swinging it around, yeah.
And then giving it to you was like,
yeah.
You know, I think about this stuff, it really depresses me because I think, well, you know, this is gone. I want this back. I want to be able to go back into a store and just like the video stores, I used to say about the smell of them used to be what made you feel like, oh.
Yeah.
The close tightness of it was what made it what it was.
Yeah.
You know? And the people were so different. Well, I remember when corner shops and that were run by Indians.
Yeah.
And Pakistanis. Right? Now, you get Kosvians running them. You get Albanian people running them. You get all these different people. And it's so weird because it's like a culture's losing its own kind of stuff.
It's weird because that's the thing. I mean, I won't obviously say on here what my dad used to call them, but you know, there was slang used. You know, you know, it's now you can probably guess, but you know, and it was the norm that it was always run by Indians / you know, Pakistanis kind of thing, and it was kind of that thing where you would always go in, and that would be, and that's not a judgment, but that would be it. They were the corner shops, they were the Indian shops, you know, and now you say Indian and you're just talking about takeaway kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go to the Indian shop. Oh, yeah, what are you going to get? We're going to get newspaper. They don't sell newspapers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But you just think about it, when you think about how so much changes.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid going down to the town. And we had a shop called Simon's which sold everything.
Yeah.
You know, well, they didn't, but it felt like they did. You know.
Yeah.
I remember going down there one Christmas Eve with my mum and my dad, and outside they had all these VHSs of wrestling.
Yeah.
And I remember that time like it was yesterday because it was a beautiful time. It was cold, people had gloves on, and it was like a proper English tradition, you know, wearing the gloves and that, being outside.
Yeah.
And you rarely see that even now. You rarely see, and I'm not trying to sound racist, I'm trying to say about the difference.
Yeah.
Now everything seems to be different people from different cultures. I don't mind, that doesn't bother me. But it just seems so different how the world's changing, how my childhood changed. I think about how there was this English bloke outside, this old English bloke, who used to wear the gloves and talk to you, and he had a bit of banter.
Well, essentially, it's like we're going through our own generation change, where, say, our parents and that, they went through change where more Indians and that were coming in and foreigners kind of were coming in and doing that stuff. Now we're seeing a change where obviously there's a different culture taking over what we used to know as our norm, if you know what I mean.
Well, let's have a look. I think we've got a couple of questions from The Last Avenger.
Oh, cool.
First one is Malcolm. What is your favourite fighting games? I'm a big fan of Marvel vs. Capcom series. I have played them and I do enjoy the Marvel vs. Capcom games. I have to be honest with you, I always think they're a bit of a sellout because I don't like these whole against each other things. I like it when they stick with the normal ones. But I do enjoy them anyway. I enjoy playing as like Spider-Man versus Ryu or Ken or something. I do enjoy things like that, but I like sticking in the same universe.
Yeah.
So I would say that.
Sorry. You were saying, sorry?
I was going to say my favourite ones are probably Mortal Kombat, Tekken. I was never a big Street Fighter fan.
No.
As much as I played it in the arcade with my cousin when we went Clacton and stuff, I never ever cared about it. I always cared about Mortal Kombat. I always thought Mortal Kombat had the coolest characters like Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And I remember playing it with my cousin going, "Get over here!" You know, because because me and my cousin.
I never liked Street Fighter. I don't know what it was. I just never got into Street Fighter at all.
So what were yours then?
Mine would have to be. I'm not a big fighting game fan because I do get tired of some of it. It just gets repetitive.
It does.
Unless they're well done, like you say, the Mortal Kombat ones have always kind of changed up the game a bit, you know. And well, not always, but you know, because after like in the older generation, they started to get a bit repetitive. But certainly the new one that was out on the PS3, the reboot one.
Are you talking about Freddy Krueger?
Yeah.
Where Freddy Krueger go, I'm in your dreams.
Yeah. That was amazing what they did with that to rejuvenate the franchise. But I stand by my favourite one to this day is still Primal Fear, that was out on the the Super Nintendo and the Sega Saturn. I played it on the Sega Saturn, and it was dinosaurs and prehistoric monkeys fighting against each other. And it was amazing because each dinosaur had its own special move, kind of thing. And it was, although you could say the monkeys were a pain in the butt to beat, they were really, really good. But I just loved. It was so different from humans fighting each other. It was dinosaurs. It was awesome. It was for a kid. It was just like.
It sounds great. I never got to play it, but it sounds really awesome.
It's really fun, you know. You could do tail whips and biting each other and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. So that would be my standout favourite. I wish they would do a new generation, next-gen version of it.
See, I don't classify wrestling games as fighting games. I classify them as simulations.
Yeah.
Now I do. Back in the day, they would have been fighting games, but now they're more simulation.
I was going to say they've kind of changed it up now, haven't they?
They have quite a bit. I like Virtual Fighter. But I like the characters in them. The reason I like Tekken all the way up until they had the guy with a lion's head or a leopard's head, because to me that just kind of made it stupid. Yeah. And then the guy was practically the devil. It was like, yeah, okay, you know.
I never got into Tekken. It was just.
I got Tekken for free. Somebody gave it to me. The original one.
Oh, really?
I used to like being Lee and running up people's chests and then hitting them and finishing them off.
I've never. A friend of mine is really into Soul Calibur, and I got to play it with him, but I just didn't think much of it at all.
Okay. Another question. Do you two remember the DJ Cat show that aired on Sky 1 back in the day? They show classic shows like Power Rangers, X-Men animated series, Super Mario the cartoon, etc.
We didn't have Sky when I was a kid, so we missed out on that.
I had Sky when I was a kid, but I do not remember the show. I could have seen it, because I remember watching the shows like on together, but I don't remember the show itself. I remember the name of DJ Cat Show. I remember stuff like that, but I don't remember it that clearly. So I was probably more watching things like Live and Kicking and stuff than watching that.
Yeah, which did the same kind of thing, showing those shows and stuff.
Yeah. I used to love Live and Kicking. We'll be back after this.
Yeah, I loved on Going Live. They'd have like the cartoons, because you would get stuff like Turtles or the Disney ones or stuff like that. And then they would do like this. The best one was when they would have like people phone in to do these games that were on this TV screen, you know, like Frogger or something like that. And it would be like, you must get as many. They did it on Live and Kicking later as well, but you know, it was fun to see that kind of thing, because especially as somebody who loved gaming, it was just like, I want to do that.
Do you remember Chums on Ant and Dex?
Ant and Dex. Saturday, yeah.
It was on. I remember, and it was like making fun of Friends.
Yeah.
And I remember it was quite a big thing. And do you know, I don't remember the show's name.
I know it. You know what? The thing is, you know, if somebody said it now, I would just be like, yeah, that's MTV.
There you go.
Sorry, just my sister. The thing is my sister is 3.5 years younger than me. Okay. So I was born in 81. She was born in 84. So while I grew up with the 80s, as she got like you know, over 5, she was watching like the 90s stuff basically, and she grew up and she was a huge. So I got to experience a lot of that stuff through her kind of thing. So, but the thing is she had the hots for Declan Donnelly. Yeah. So she would watch anything that she used to love Biker Grove. I hated Biker Grove, but I never got into Biker Grove. I think the theme tune always annoyed me. I was more a Grange Hill kid. But she watched Biker Grove and she loved Ant and Dec, and she went through she bought all their CDs, PJ and Duncan. She watched all their TV shows, and she was heavily into SMTV. So that was all that I would get kind of exposed to, was the whole Chums and Wonky Donkey and all that stuff kind of thing.
I'll tell you this, I was thinking about the other day about, you know, everything we buy for our lives.
Yeah.
I said, if we didn't buy anything in our lives except necessities, we'd all be millionaires.
Yeah.
You know, if I'd have just stayed living with my nan and my dad, and I saved everything I had,
yeah,
I'd be a millionaire. I'd have been a millionaire by the time I was like 50.
Yeah. Oh, when I think back, when I used to get money, you know, like when I was living with my parents, you know, and I would get like my benefit money and stuff, and it would go in my bank account, and I'd end up, because the thing is I would take myself into town and just hang out on my own kind of thing, you know, like just to get out of the house and situations and stuff. And I would end up going to like stuff like Greg's the bakery and buying, and I was like, if I'd saved that money, I could have bought goodness knows what, you know, kind of thing.
This is the thing. When I was on benefit money as a kid,
yeah,
I used to get my benefit and I used to go out and I used to buy movies.
Yeah.
And I go, I don't need to buy a lot of movies today. I'll buy a couple. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to a place and then I buy like 20. I have to be like, now I have to wait 2 weeks before I get money again.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, when you're younger, you don't realise the importance of money so much.
No, you don't. It doesn't really get taught to you. That's the thing.
I remember me and my dad used to go in cash converters a lot when I lived with him when I was younger. And I'd constantly say to him, oh, look, there's Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the window. The whole collection. Oh, can I have it? And it'd be like £8 for the whole lot. And he'd go, okay.
Oh God, I remember when the mythology episodes of the X-Files would come out on VHS before the full seasons did, and especially if they came out, because like I say, we didn't have Sky, so I would have to wait for BBC to show them, and usually the VHSs came out before it aired on BBC. So I'd always get those and like watch them, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes I'd be seeing them and I'd have no context as to where they were in the show, because I'd just be like, there's these videos with like 2 or 3 episodes on it.
That's the way I was. I'd try and get a couple. I remember when The Tribe came out on VHS. I was like, I have to own that collection. Now, when I was younger, when I moved with my dad treated me like I was royalty. He bought me everything I wanted. I could have said to him, I want the whole collection of PS1 games. He would have tried to get them all for me. You know, that's the type of childhood I had when I was with my dad. The problem with that was my dad didn't really pay much attention to me.
No. Yeah.
So it was like a catch, you know, like I got everything I wanted, but I didn't get what I really needed.
But you didn't get what you need. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
would you rather play these games or have attention from your dad? You know?
As a kid, most of the time I'd rather play the games, right? But as I got older, I realised I'd rather have spent the time with him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, material objects are nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, exactly.
Now I'm living in a different country, I ain't going to spend time with him. So it makes me a little bit more sad when I think about it.
That you didn't have that time, yeah.
What time we wasted. But anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so I was quite lucky because my dad used to buy me stuff I wanted. Like, if I saw a big box set I wanted, like the West Wing, boom, he'd get for me. If I wanted like Batman 66 show, he would have got it for me. You know, when I was a kid. Right? Yeah. Because he worked nights, he didn't spend his money on anything other than what I wanted basically at the time.
Yeah.
So that was quite nice, but like I said, I didn't spend any time with him, so it was kind of like being with a dad. You know. Yeah. So I used to go in cash converters and pick up a lot of movies, and I used to pick up the VHSs of certain shows if they had an episode. Like how the Buffy one had the music one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You see, that was one of my first ever soundtracks that I bought. I bought the CD.
Cool. I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah.
But I will say this: now as I've got older, I'm like, I don't see the point in doing that because it's in the box sets.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, at the time it
But
was
it
like, oh,
wasn't at the time.
yeah. At the time it was like, oh, I've got to get this because this is part of something I won't say. Now
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's in the box sets. I don't need to worry now. And I remember getting the Buffy and Angel box sets from Woolworths. They used to have the buy one get one free
Yeah.
on the VHSs. And what would happen is I'd say to my dad every year, I'd write my dad a letter. When I live in Morris, I'd write my dad a letter. Hi, Dad. In Woolworths, they're doing the buy one, get one free on Buffy and Angel. Will you help me buy them, please? I love you, Dad. P.S. I love you even more when you help me. P.S. Please help me. P.S. I don't mean to say I love you because you buy me stuff. I just mean I love you anyway. P.S. Ignore everything I've just said. Right? So,
Yeah.
so he'd contact me and he'd go, why'd you write me a letter? Why didn't you just call me? And I'd go, because I was nervous. What? And he'd go, do you want to go Woolworths? And I'd go, yeah, we're going in. And we'd buy maybe like, let's say there were 7 seasons out, he'd probably buy me like 5 and then say, well, maybe next week if they're still doing it, or maybe next time,
Yeah.
you know. And I remember on VHSs and watching these shows and thinking, wow, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh, what's this? Hi, I'm here, guys. Sorry I'm late. That's from James.
Hello, James.
So, I remember getting these shows on the VHS, and it was an amazing, amazing time.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I think about how VHS is such a dead thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, in the same way, and I know we've mentioned it before, but in the same way, like with the newsagents and the corner shops and that, I mean, being able to go to Woolworths or like you said, HMV or like say Our Price before they went, to go there and to look for your CDs, to look for your VHSs and that was such a fun thing to do. And now because everything is just digital download and look on the internet, and don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed, I like buying stuff online, but that's because there's no shops to go into, except for in our town. The only option is like WH Smith's, but they're extortionately priced.
well, this is the thing. Let's talk about Woolworths for a minute. Right?
Hmm.
Woolworths was one of those shops that was like your everything shop again.
Yeah, yeah,
I used to enjoy going in there at Christmas because you'd have all the Christmas stuff. And I used to like actually look. See, this is something I don't like now. You don't get to look at the actual products that much anymore.
no,
And with this whole digital download stuff, you know what? Digital download is bullshit.
yeah,
I mean, literally it is. Because, like I said about the PS4 game earlier, it didn't work.
yeah, exactly.
Right? What am I going to do next time? I'm going to buy a game off there again. I'm going to buy the actual disc because then I can take it in and get it replaced. Or say, well, it didn't work, I want my refund.
Yeah, but even then, like I say, you have a disc, you put it in, and it digitally it installs it and all that stuff, and then it keeps crashing. It's like, do you remember when you had a console and you would put in the game and it would just run off what was in it, and that was it?
I remember going into Woolworths and looking at the PS1 game section.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I remember standing there, and they'd have the Nintendo 64 section too. My mum went in there with me once, and it was buy 2 get 1 free or something. And
Oh yeah.
we kept picking up free, and they kept going, we haven't got these ones in stock. Right?
Mm.
4 times they did that. And I was like, wow, I'm really running out of games I want to get. You know? But I remember Woolworths being such a big, massive store, but was amazing to be.
You had the sweet section, you had the kitchen, like cutlery and saucepans and all that stuff. You had the kids' toys, you had the DVD/videos and games and stuff.
One of my weirdest memories in Woolworths is, I don't know why I did it, but I was about 16 and I was just leaving school.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a girl in there I know, and when she turned around, I basically dropped down so that they couldn't see me in there.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. Not because I was ashamed of being in there, but because I just didn't want to talk to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, the next day at school, the girl said to me, "Why were you hiding behind the DVD rack at Woolworths?" And I said, "What? I wasn't in Woolworths." "Yes, you were." And I was like, "Why the hell did I do that?" You know, some of the weirdest things you do, just crazy.
I remember our Woolworths in Dartford before it closed. It closed down before, long before it got taken over by Iceland or something. But our Woolworths there, it was actually 2 levels, and
Yeah.
you had your ground level that had all the basic, all the mixed stuff and that, and then if you went downstairs, you were in Toyland. And oh my god, just seriously, as a kid going around in there, it was the most amazing thing ever. It was like going to Toys R Us, but downstairs, in Woolworths. And I always remember, the thing I always remember getting from there was this big, cuddly red dragon with green spikes down its back. And it was like, it was like up to here, say on me, up to me chest kind of thing. But that was one of those things I just always remember getting from there.
I remember having to walk to the back of the store to get to the game section.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember always looking at the games like Mousetrap and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember, I always wanted to get Dunkin' Donuts, with the elephant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you ever have Hungry Hippos?
Yeah, we had that as well. And I always wanted to have Hungry Hippos and the elephant one. We got Hungry Hippos, but we never had the elephant one. We've got a question for you, for James. Tash, did you see my Giga Chat tribute for you? If so, so you did. What did you think? Oh, no. Your face was so funny because you were like, huh? Yeah, that question come from James.
Okay, I don't think here's the place to discuss. Thank you, James. That's help me. Sit down and watch me squirm.
Obviously, you're over the moon from it because you're smiling and laughing.
Well, I was barely in it. That would be my only thing.
So basically, what you're saying is we're barely in it, but you're barely in it. But thank you, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, James. You've been answered. So anyway, go back to Woolworths.
Yeah.
I used to remember going to the back of the store, and at the back of the store, they had one of those machines where you sit in it and you got pictures taken up there for like passport.
Yeah.
And they had like an outdoor back bit.
Yeah.
And you'd go through the store and you go out the back.
Yeah.
And it was such a really, really great time because I used to enjoy going through the back every day. Because me and my mum used to go from the market through there to get round to the other shops.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'd have it actually locked.
Yeah.
And you'd sit there and you'd be like, now I have to walk all the way around. I remember my mum asking them if they could open it once so we could go.
Oh, really?
Because you weren't meant to. You're supposed to just go through, the parking lots there.
Just used to go through, yeah.
But, yeah, I remember going there. They had a clothes section, which had clothes that never fit me. Because I was a big kid,
Yeah.
And they had all this other stuff, and then it was an amazing shop to go in. And when they changed it, when they went under, I never went in the store because I didn't want to see all the stuff going.
Yeah. I went to after Woolworths had gone broke and all that, and they were closing down. I was in Berlin for an X-Files convention.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because they had a Woolworths and it was still open, and it was just like the most amazing thing. It was just like, there is a place in the world where Woolworths still exists. Can you imagine? There is going to be generations that are not going to know Woolworths, Rumbelows. We used to have an electric store called B-Jams in Dartford, which I always thought was the most amazing name ever. I don't know why, but it just B-Jams. It's just the way it sounds. But those kind of. I mean, I don't know if I've told you this one before. Rumbelows that used to do all the electrical goods like curries and stuff. They did this ad campaign where they said, they had this jingle, it was, "Don't you pay any more, Mrs. Moore?" Well, unfortunately, we had a teacher at my junior school called Mrs. Moore. So she would take us swimming, except all the kids, and I hated it, I wasn't one of them, they would keep singing this bloody jingle to her, and she hated it. And it was the most awful and awkward thing. I didn't care. I just went off. You know, I wasn't a strong swimmer, but I was just like, let's just move away from, you know, it gave me excuses to wander off kind of thing, because she was just stood there going, "Will you shut up? Will you just carry on and do what I say?" But it's those kind of things that remind you and make you nostalgic. You know, even like we said with the game, when we were talking about the games, the old games and that, although they were hard times and stuff like that, and it's not that you're looking back with rose-tinted glasses, but it's that stuff that you remember that sticks with you kind of thing. It wasn't a good time in that, but at the same time, it's those things that you can laugh about now. At the time, they were just like, okay.
I remember the market stalls in the middle of the town.
Yeah.
And there was three movie stalls.
Yeah.
Now there's none, but there were three.
Yeah.
I had to go to them, and some of them were overpriced. Some were like $4.99, $3.99. You know, not bad prices at the time. But at the same time, you're a bit like, well, I expect cheaper because that's what you expect.
Yeah.
And I used to love going to the stalls, and I used to love picking the stuff up. And I remember one time we got a whole load of wrestling VHSs. And me and my dad went down there, and we picked up like a big, massive Christmas sack full of them.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And we were talking about my nan's, and my nan was like, "How much did you spend on this?" to my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad went, "They're only a couple of quid each," you know. And I looked at him and he went like this. They were like £5 each, you know.
Yeah.
There was like 30 of them. And it was just really, really weird, because I think about those times, and back then, times like that, they were so much precious, because I couldn't buy whatever I wanted. I couldn't download something illegally and watch it like in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know? Now that I can do that, none of it is as important as it used to be. And I've said this all before, but the problem is, it's like for instance, Chicago Fire, right? I bought the Blu-ray from England, I'm going to watch it. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't have to. I could have got it off of an internet torrent, and I could have watched it there free right now in 10 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, if that came out on VHS, I'd have had to buy it or get a pirated version, which would have been non-existent because it wasn't a big popular film.
Yeah.
So I'd have had to go to the shop and buy it to watch it or see it on TV.
Yeah.
They're the days I miss. I'm glad I can buy this stuff. I'm glad I can download films which I can't see anywhere else other than maybe in a certain country.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just ruins the whole feel of everything.
Oh, God. Okay, so bear in mind, I was a kid that was a fan of old music, right? And especially as a fan of Gene Pitney, getting a hold of his music, especially the stuff that was only on albums at the time, was impossible. Your only way of getting it was on the LPs. And of course, you know, you get all these best of CDs and that. And at the time, it was nice because my dad would get them for me, and I'd be like, "Well, I've got that song, I've got that song." And all I was interested in was getting new songs. And the thing is then I think, and the thing is it's different now because then CDs got released with the LPs on, and of course now you just go on Amazon or whatever and you just download the tracks. But my dad, like I say, he worked for the council as a gardener. And he would go where he worked, the town where he worked. They had a main marketplace in the town where he would go and he would look through the LP boxes and he would go, right, oh, there's a Gene Pitney one, and he wouldn't know what songs I had and stuff, so he would buy them, and then he would come home and he'd go like, "Have you heard of this song at all?" And he'd read out these songs, and then he would just produce this LP for me, and I was over the moon. And then he'd bring out another 2 or 3, I remember one of the times, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, influx of songs I've not heard of before." And it's just that joy in the same way, like where we were waiting, you know, a good year or so for VHSs to be released. It was so to find those LPs. It was such a rare opportunity to get them.
See, see, it's like that for me with VHSs.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was big into horror.
Yeah.
Right, and martial arts films. Right. Well, I've got wrestling as well, but I'm going to count these two more. If you've heard of a certain film, you can't find it anywhere. And if I found it in a box at a boot sale or at a thing, I'd go. I'm cursed today with that bloody phone. And I'd go mental. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
I'd jump up and down, holding it like I won the gold.
It was the most amazing thing you've ever seen, yeah.
What's that? Sorry, Tash, if I was to download more clips from the chats, it would have been a lot better. And the reason I didn't get more is that would have took a while to download. I'll probably make a better one in the future.
That's okay. I just appreciate an email or something.
I just want to make a comment on this. I just want to make a comment to James on this because I've downloaded all his videos. The geeky chats take an average of 4 to 5 minutes to download each. So there you go. That will give you that estimate of how long. Anyway.
But, feel free to drop me an email or something. But anyway.
With pictures of your nerd. But anyway.
Yeah, no, but it was the most amazing thing ever. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to cut in with what you were saying about videos. Sorry.
Okay, so I like your LPs.
Yeah.
Alright, that's where I was with VHSs.
Yeah.
I never really got to experience the whole LP phase, which is very disappointing.
But it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, just a different format, but the same,
Yeah.
So
it wasn't about LPs for me. It was just about getting new songs in the same way, like you with the movies. It's just like something different, a new one. Kind of.
So I remember looking at Bootsales and stuff. Like I knew a film, like let's say Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Half a Loaf for Kung Fu. It looks really interesting from what I've heard, but I don't know because you'd look in magazines. You'd have to. There was no real internet.
Yeah, there was no internet. You'd have to look in the magazines and that.
You didn't know. You didn't know what films there were. You didn't know how many there were of somebody's films. And I'd go in the shop. Or I'd go, especially the Bootsales.
Yeah.
I'd go for a box and I'd go, oh, because I'd find it and I'd be like, whoa, and I'd be jumping up and down, right? And then my mum would go, we can't afford it, and I'd be like, no, don't do this to me. And I'd be crying there like, oh, it's the Golden Tech X. Right? And my mum would be like, okay, I'll get it. Right? But things like that were amazing. If I go into a shop like CX and I see a Blu-ray of like Talk or something, I'm like, oh well, I found it. There was no need for me to look very far for it because it's right there.
Yeah. Well, even it got so bad with like my song collecting. I remember I was with this woman, a support worker at school. And she was she took me to London for a day out, and she was going to buy us tickets to go see a show. I can't remember where it was. I think it was something like the Mousetrap or something. No. Or something else. And we rather foolishly went in Virgin out on Oxford Street. And I found a Gene Pitney CD, and it had 4 songs on it that I hadn't even heard of before. And I was like, I want, but it was like £16 for one CD. And she was like, well, either you can have that or we can go see the show. And I was like, I really want to see the show, but these are 4 songs. 4 songs that I was desperate for. And I picked the CD. And like you say, it's just like that concept of just, like you say, it's just that excitement it gets in you. It's just like something completely, I remember, the thing is the first CD that I had that got me into Gene Pitney, because my dad bought it for my mum for one song, and I enjoyed listening to the rest of it. It had 12 old songs on it and like 8 new studio recordings.
Yeah. So
then I was looking through, I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's this Guinness World Records singles, Guinness World Records singles book, and I found Gene Pitney in it, and it listed his hits that were, like in the charts, and there were ones there that obviously, because they were lesser known, they were not on this CD. So once you know that these things exist, you then go looking for them, don't you? But now it's so easy to just Google. All you do now, if you don't know anything, you just Google.
Yeah.
You don't look at maps now. You just Google Maps it or something.
We don't live by CDs anymore. We can look on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, exactly. You're just like, let's check it out on YouTube.
You've got another thing here from James saying he'll email you before coming offline.
Okay. Thanks.
But yeah, you know, I mean, I miss those times. I miss the times where you found that thing. I remember, like, it's like Jackie Chan movies with people. I get really, really angry with people. Right? Now, I even get angry with people now. Because what they'll do is like, oh, I love Jackie Chan. What do you like? Tuxedo, blah, 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 blah. What about his old Chinese stuff? No, I'm not going to look at that stuff. Why not?
Yeah.
You're a fan of it. Yeah, because that stuff was all rubbish. Was it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or I don't want to watch it in Cantonese, or I don't want to watch something that's foreign, and you just hear yourself, you're not a fan then, are you?
No, exactly.
You know, at one point, I had every single one of Jackie Chan, Jet Li's films.
Really, yeah.
Not a lot, but it's a lot, you know. And I'm going to talk about even ones with Jackie Chan as a stuntman in, like the else say, you know.
Oh wow, yeah.
And this is stuff, to me, a fan is somebody like you are, Gene Pitney.
Yeah.
You know, that's a fan. Like you of X-Files. It's your fan, right?
Yeah.
That's what a fan is. A fan is somebody who needs to get everything but goes with that thing. I'm not, I would say I'm a big fan. I'm not as big of a fan as you are about those things, but when it comes to the movies,
but you've got your own things that you know,
I have to have them when they're the films. I won't go out and buy action figures of Jackie Chan, all that, because that's other people's way of being. But I'm very keen when it comes to the movies. So I just get a bit aggravated when people go, "Oh, I'm a big fan of this." And okay, I'm going to leave you guys to it now. I've got to be up earlier tomorrow to get my new glasses. So you only popped in for like 10 minutes.
So actually, he wasn't paying any attention to what we were doing anyway.
So basically, he just came in to ask you that one question.
Okay.
Oh well.
Bye, James.
Okay, bye, James.
Go glasses.
I wish I'd have ignored it now.
Yeah.
Because that way he would have stayed in the chat. Wait. But anyway. What was I going to say? So yeah, you know, I get fed up with these people that go, "Oh, I'm a big fan." It's like people go, "I'm a big fan of wrestling." Oh yeah, I started watching it in 2000, 2005. Have you watched the older wrestling? Some bits, but it bored me. I don't like them as much as I like people like Randy Orton. Well, these people paved the way for people like Randy Orton.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
His father was Bob Orton. Why not watch him? You know what I mean? So, to me, a fan is somebody, if you're a fan of a sport, you go all the way back as well.
Well, that is, at the end of the day, the word fan is from the word fanatical. And to be fanatical about something is supposed to, you know, is that you are absolutely passionate about something.
Yeah.
And I don't like these half-hearted fans that then are like, "Oh, no, I'm totally a fan." It's like, just liking something doesn't make you a fan. I mean, you don't have to be obsessive in a creepy way, but, you know, show more interest. And like you say with the Jackie Chan stuff and that, you can't say you're a Jackie Chan fan and then not know his older stuff, you know, kind of thing. And that's like me saying, you know, you know, because I know you were saying about, like, your favourite actors and stuff the other day. You know, I love Dustin Hoffman and that. I look at his older stuff, you know. I don't just go, "Oh, I just watch his new stuff." It's like, well, have you watched, you know, his early day stuff or something like that, you know?
But this is the thing. It annoys me when people go, "Oh, I really love that movie with Al Pacino in." Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Al Pacino's now. I've watched The Godfather. I've watched Hey. I've watched this and that. And you're like, "What about his more earlier films?" No, I'm not really interested in them. Why not? If you're a fan.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff.
Well, even as an X-Files fan, I mean, I'm not a huge David Duchovny fan, but, you know, I've seen his older stuff. I've seen Red Shoe Diaries and Twin Peaks and Baby Snatcher, for goodness sakes, you know. I've seen that older stuff, you know.
Don't forget your favourite film, Mr. Murder.
Yeah, but he wasn't in that, so.
I know, but that's one of your top films. You love Mr.
Oh
Murder.
yeah, that's, you know, that was why I loved seeing Stephen Baldwin turn up in Usual Suspects.
You said to me, and I repeat, I like Mr. Murder more than Gene Pitney.
Yeah, yeah, and more than The Great Escape, and more than Terminator 2 or anything. Just Mr. Murder is easy. You know what? I don't know why it doesn't turn up on people's best movies list more. You know.
You know, I should do that. I should make a tribute. I should make a tribute to you with
just
Stephen
Mr. Murder clips
and Yo Guy. Like take bits from the chats and point me looks like you're watching it, going.
You just get this clip of me going, oh yeah.
Stephen Baldwin's on the scene and Tash says, oh yeah. But yeah. You know,
that is the thing. I don't like that. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't like the way people are, because to me, I feel like people who do that are mocking people who are.
Yeah, well, I know I mentioned last time about, you know, my mate Jane, who's like, oh, you know, when I showed her the X-Files or any of the other shows I've shown her, she's like, oh, he's going to marry me. And I'm like, some of us have been around a lot longer and watching this show for a lot longer. You know, it's like, she really got into David Boreanaz in Angel and that. And I'm like, yeah, been there, done that, you know, kind of going through that phase and stuff. It's like, you're not the first person to do that.
Well, you know, I always see these things and I'm like, people go really crazy over this stuff. And I understand that, because I think it's great to be a big fan of things like I said earlier. You know, me, instead of being big fans of things like that, I was more of a fan of like wrestlers growing up, big sweaty baby up men
guys,
in tights and stuff. Whereas when you think about it as a kid, that makes you sound a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's like, oh, I love him. He's the best. He's my favourite. You say that when you get older, and people go, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I kind of grew up worshipping wrestlers more than people on TV.
I grew up it's weird. It's funny you say that, though, because I grew up worshipping, like, female comedians.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I loved Birds of a Feather. I loved, I kind of looked up to, like, Pauline Quirk in that. There was something about her that kind of spoke to, you know, like, personality-wise, you know, just that character. I never met her or anything like that, but that personality that she was on the show, I kind of, there was something like me about that, if you know what I mean. So, you know, like kind of the sarcastic wit kind of thing every now and then or something.
Well, talking about Birds of a Feather quickly.
I loved French and Saunders as well. Yeah, sorry, you were saying that.
Talking about Birds of a Feather quickly, that was an awesome comedy.
Yeah.
And they brought it back in 2013 and it sucked.
Oh, I didn't know they brought it back. Really?
They brought back a season of it and it was absolutely horrible. Yeah, it had original cast in it and everything. I can't believe you didn't know that.
I did not know that. I hadn't heard of that
no,
at all.
They brought out a season of it, rebooting it, and it wasn't bad. It just wasn't the same. It didn't have the same thing. So we're all very old.
They've had that with Red Dwarf. It's just, you know, I still think when I met Chris Barry, who plays Rimmer, and because they did this one called Back to Earth.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was awful. I hated it because it was one with Coronation Street and that in, and I know we've mentioned it before, and I said to him, I'm sorry, I didn't like to Back to Earth because the new series hadn't started yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, I hope it's better than, you know, kind of that. And he was like, oh, well, they were trying something new, and I was like, I didn't like it. And he didn't understand why I didn't like it.
This is the thing. My cousin and that was a big Red Dwarf fan, more of a Red Dwarf fan than me. I was a bit hit and miss with it. I liked it, but there was other days when I hated it. It was depending on the day.
Yeah.
And I know it's a good show because I think it's a good show. I just, you know, always like, you know what it's like. So.
Oh no, I enjoy it, but my sister is a huge fan of it. She will quote it and tell you episode titles in the same way that I can tell you X-Files, you know.
That's a fan. I wish I could do that. I wish I could quote every title of an episode. I just can't do it. You know?
No.
I don't know. I guess to me, that's important to people who want to, you know, do quizzes and stuff about it.
Yeah.
But for me, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's just lazy. Maybe it's just being a lazy fan. I don't know. I just
I don't know. Sometimes it depends on how many times you've seen the episodes, and
yeah,
unfortunately, I kind of, you know.
probably that as well. You know, I
Yeah.
don't know. But anyway, going what I was going to say.
Red Dwarf. Yeah, yeah.
Well, when the new series came out, my cousin went mental for it, and they were going how excellent it was.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I thought it was terrible.
Yeah. No, it just didn't have the same.
And because what I get, this is when you know someone's a fan as well, a deep fan, because
Yeah.
they love it, even though it's awful.
Even if it's crap.
Right? They'll go on about it's the best series yet, how it's incredible, how it rocks, and all this. Or you'll get the other side of the fan that goes, it was absolutely terrible, and then this like a billion reasons why.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
I'm like that with the X-Files. I'm more that one than just loving anything and everything.
I prefer the ones that do the reasons why it's horrible.
Yeah.
Because at least they're being honest.
Well, at least they're not blind, and that's why I always say, at least, you know, I've said it before, I'm not blind to the fact that there are shit episodes of the X-Files, and I will happily tell you why they're rubbish, if you know what I mean. Whereas, I don't like it when you get these people go, oh, but it's amazing, it's part of this, that, and the other. It's like, no. But your cousin didn't like it anyway? They
No, my
liked
cousin
it.
loved it. My cousin and his friend loved it. But I'm sitting there going, it was awful.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
My
Birds
sister
of a Feather.
loved it. My sister loved the new Red Dwarf. My sister loved the new Red Dwarf, and I was just like, really?
Well, it's like the new Birds of a Feather. They brought it up back, but Pauline Quirk doesn't look like Pauline Quirk anymore.
No, she's lost a lot of weight in that, and you know.
So she doesn't look like the same woman that was in the show. I mean, it obviously is her, obviously, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, but I know what. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody in it looks old and haggard.
Yeah.
It looks like
especially Leslie Joseph, who's like looks decrepit.
Yeah. It looks like they're on a show that was held back by like 20 years, and then they released them on there as kind of like a Children in Need tribute thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't mean to sound horrible, but if you're getting older and you weren't in the show for like 20 years, I don't see a point in making it unless it's for that cha-ching money.
Well, they did it not in the same way, but they did a 20-year anniversary special of Hello Hello, and you know they got everybody together that was still alive in that, and you know they tried for the jokes, and it just did not work in the same way. That if you watch back the old episodes, it just didn't work. And I was like, no, this is really bad. Why are they trying?
My cousin went and met the cast of Hello Hello at an event thing in Peterborough.
Oh, really?
And he had a picture with them all.
No,
and three of them looked exactly the same.
I've only met Gruber. I've only met Guy Sinus because he was at Comic-Con this year. So I only went there on the Friday because of him.
There was like 6 of them that he got his picture took with. And it was all in a group photo.
My mum used to be a cleaner at local hotel. And Gordon Kay, who played Rene, he was doing a play at the local theatre. So he stayed at this hotel where my mum was cleaning. And I kept pestering her. And it was around the time that he was, because we had that hurricane in '87, didn't we? And he had the head injury where a tree was thrown through his car window. And it was after that, I think, while he was recuperating and stuff. And I was like, I want his autograph and all that stuff. And she didn't get it. But I would have given anything to have met him, you know, kind of thing.
Well, see, that's the problem, isn't it? When you work there as well, there's a thing for will they do it or will they get it for me or will they get me fired? Yeah,
exactly.
You know, because some people are really, really nice. Like, yeah, I'll do that for you. And other people are like, you're harassing me.
Yeah. Well, she never tried it anyway, and I respect, you know, especially as an adult, I respect it. As a kid, I was just like, all I saw was, I want to get his autograph. But
my cousin followed somebody back to a hotel, you know, like a group of people and wanted autographs.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Michael Bublé was there, right?
Yeah.
And he said all these people were screaming when this guy came down the stairs. His name was Michael Bublé. Oh, what do you mean Bublé? And he went, yeah, who is he? I went, it's a big, massive singer. Wow. And he went, oh, he just looked like nobody to me. And I was like, awful, I tell you. I met the guy who played Smithy in the Bill.
Oh, really?
I was doing jiu-jitsu, basically jiu-jitsu in Dagenham, and he was friends with the guy who worked there.
Oh.
And he popped in to see him, and the friend I had at the time was like passing out, and I'm like, you know, and it was just a weird thing to say, but it was really nice.
See, there's another show like Casualty that went completely downhill when they kind of turned it into a soap opera. I used to love The Bill. I grew up with that show religiously.
I used to enjoy The Bill too. I liked it, and I feel like after about 2006, it went down. It went down because it became more of a soap drama, and it ended up with police officers sleeping with each other all the time, and I'm going to get with this one's daughter, and all this stuff, and then it just ended up really, really boring.
The Bill for me will always be the feet at the end during the credits, walking down the street and leaving the cobble.
I always loved, you know the bit where the car would speed up and just stop, and they go, you know.
Yeah.
What else?
You see, the thing is with The Bill is it always makes me think of playing The Getaway and The Getaway 2.
Oh yeah, I can.
Whenever I play The Getaway, I just imagine The Bill, you know.
I can actually see that. Did you get any of your Black Friday stuff today?
No, Alien Isolation, and that was it.
Oh, cool. Okay, not that I want you to show them. I'm just asking because I'm expecting my Shadow of Mordor today. So
fingers crossed. I've had nothing from Amazon. I don't think I'm going to have it until later in the week, if any.
Yeah, because my pile's starting to stack up as well. So I just wondered if yours was, you know.
Yeah, no, it was kind of gutted. I mean, I was lucky that my mate Donna's birthday present and that turned up. So, but no, the only thing that came was from Game, ironically. So, nothing from.
I'm thinking about picking up a couple more things Cyber Monday.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually thinking about.
Financially, I don't have any money until tomorrow now. So. Financially, there's not much. I looked on Amazon today, and there's not been much at all. So
they're kind of redoing the same deals.
Yeah.
But what's really annoying me is, and it's going to sound funny, is that everything keeps disappearing.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be looking for like the DVD deals, and then there won't be any, and then there will be like 10 minutes later, and I've missed them.
Yeah, well, the same for the games. They seem to, if you click on Cyber Monday and then you go to PC and like I said, I know we'll talk about this next week when we do our Black Friday special kind of thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to give spoilers ahead before we told what people were doing. But, if you click on PC and video games, it just goes to general like sale kind of thing. It's like, well, no, I want to know what deals you've got on, the black kind of Cyber Monday stuff.
On the Best Buy now, they've got a sale, and I was going to rebuy. Look at this. Buy Far Cry 4, right? With 21% off at $102.99. That's ridiculous. At the moment,
I've just clicked on Cyber Monday deals on Blu-rays and DVDs, and it says there are no deals. Like, okay, fine.
There was a whole load of deals listed earlier.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: I'm thinking about buying a couple more games from Best Buy because they've got some in their sale again.
Oh yeah.
One's Murder Suspect.
Oh yeah.
Which I've heard is really short and basically isn't as good. But I thought for $14.99, that isn't a bad price.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And I was thinking about buying season 1 of Walking Dead to play with Donna because I've played it, but she hasn't.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be good for her to kind of get to play it. And then I see the season 2 has gone up, and I'm like, oh. Because I would have liked to have bought series 1 and 2 together.
Oh look, Zavvi have got the Evil Within Steelbook on their Cyber Monday.
The what Steelbook?
Oh, Kingdom Hearts 2.5. Sorry, the Evil Within. They've got a limited Steelbook edition for $27.98.
Oh. But I mean, I just get annoyed with these deals because sometimes the deals just don't feel like they're actually deals.
That's not bad for the Kingdom Hearts. £20 for the 2.5. I love Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
That one, I wasn't a big Final Fantasy fan.
No.
So I love that mix of Disney and Final Fantasy that kind of made Final Fantasy more enjoyable for me. Especially because I felt that after 7, Final Fantasy completely went down the drain.
Yeah, the first game I played was 10.
Oh, really?
And I really enjoyed the first part, and I was like, oh, I've got to play the second, and it just was awful.
Yeah.
You know? I mean...
What is Assassin's Creed Birth of a New World? I've never even heard of this one. Is that like the coloured lady one? Or, no, it's a different one.
Where's that?
It's on Zavvi. They've got it for $20.98.
Birth of a No.
Birth of a New World.
Oh, that's Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation and Black Flag together.
Yeah, because I haven't played Liberation yet. I played a demo of it, and that was all I didn't know.
It's the
Well, I've got Black Flag and 3 already, so...
That's the American Saga.
That's not bad, though. $20.98 for 3 games, essentially.
Well, it's funny, because you can buy 1, 2, and 3 in a collection for like $15.
Yeah.
That's what I'm planning to do when I play them again.
Oh, I'm kind of tempted to get that Kingdom Hearts 2.5.
Oh, somebody's going to end up poor again.
I know. Yeah, but I get paid tomorrow, so... £20. Yeah, but £20's not bad.
I'm thinking on Best Buy buying Faith.
Yeah, I would like to get Faith. Oh, it's a pre-order.
You know, I'm thinking about getting Faith, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I want to get it because it's first person.
Yeah.
And it looks like it could be a little bit,
I've played, like I say, my mate Donna's loaned it to me because her husband had it, and she really loves it. It's first person, and it's good. It's like playing Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell, but in first person.
Yeah.
But you do have to stick a lot more to, like being up in the roofs and, like being strategic with like the shadows and that you're in.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. The thing is because I was playing Unity and that, I've kind of stepped away from playing Thief because, you know what, you do end up feeling like you're playing the same games in the end. Yeah.
Well, I think what might do it's the whole platinum.
If you can find it cheap, it's worth getting.
It's only
I wouldn't pay much for it.
It's only $19.99.
Oh, it's not bad. I'd get it for that.
You know.
Is that dollars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking at about £12.
Yeah. Well, I'd pay that for it if that was.
Oh. You know, I'm thinking about getting that.
Yeah.
So I might get that, Murder Suspect, and Walking Dead Season 1.
Yeah.
But then there'll be 3 more games I bought, and then there'll be like 8 games I bought.
Yeah, I'm dreading, like, I don't want Donna seeing our chat next week when I'm showing off all the stuff I've got, because I'd just be like, yeah, I'd spent all this money I don't have.
You know, we all do it at different times.
I'd just be like, she'll be like, I thought you said you were struck for money. I'm like, yeah, but it was Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Oh dear, finish the game in 15 hours or more.
What was that?
Finish the game in 15 hours or more. That's one of the Thief trophies.
Yeah.
I hate these trophy things.
I hate that. You were saying yesterday about the, completing 5 hours. It's like, seriously? Who does that?
I just don't. You must require to have 15 hours of gameplay time to unlock this trophy. You've played chapter 8 once, you've beaten the game, already will unlock the trophy if you've accumulated the 15-hour playing time. Oh, you must acquire a total of 15 hours. So basically, you have to play it for 15 hours. You can't just finish it.
You can't just.
Oh, so of course, if you just want to leave your console running so you can get the 15 hours, so you're welcome to. That's a bit stupid.
Oh, so you just leave it on?
That's a bit stupid, isn't it?
So just leave your console on all night and you're sorted.
So when's this supposed to go 15 hours or more? I was expecting to be in under 15 hours.
Yeah.
It's a bit stupid.
So it's not about playing it. As long as you leave it on, even if it's idle, that counts.
Reach the final chapter without using the focus ability.
Wasn't it stupid? You need that.
Quite should be to survey your
That's like
hand.
saying don't use eagle vision in Assassin's Creed, considering they keep telling you in missions, use eagle vision.
I hate when they do that, you know. And talk about Eagle Vision. Eagle Vision's gone down the toilet and all.
I don't like that when it goes completely quiet. Donna was saying she was looking for those riddle things,
Yeah.
and she says she was using eagle visual to find it, but the problem is when you're just walking around you can hear it tingling. Once you put eagle vision on, you can't hear it anymore, so you can't tell if you're nearby.
Oh, what's this?
She's
To a
like,
chest?
yeah, for the riddles, you know, that you got to
riddle.
solve to get the armor.
But you can see
The
the riddle.
Nostradamus enigma.
But you can see them.
Yeah, but she likes to know that she's in the general area. You know, like if you can hear it, then it's nice. But yeah, no, it's just, and no, eagle vision is really down the pan. And I hate how long it takes to recharge it after.
Yeah, I don't like that, but you have to wait like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Also, why does it cut off? You know, you don't get very long with it. You know.
Well, the good thing is, because I've got a $10 voucher with Best Buy at the minute, the 3 games together would just cost me $40.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is nice. So I'll probably do that in a little while, because I think so money's only today. You know?
Get it while you can, kind of thing.
Yeah, get it while you can. The bacon.
Oh, yeah.
Where are we? Let's check. Have we got any new questions? Well,
you're going to have to do that list of programs another time, which just completely...
Yeah, we'll have to do that another time.
This was a good TV talk. No, I'm joking.
It's actually, we actually talked about some really good things.
Yeah. We've ended up sounding like grumpy old sods, but...
Oh, why not?
Yeah, exactly. If you don't like it, go away. No, I'm joking. Please come.
Oh no, we've just lost. I've got to say a quote now from Sam McCormick with it. I've lost all my subscribers now, Tash. No,
please subscribe. I'm going to do this little sign to hold up. Please subscribe.
That would actually be quite funny. So the 3 games I'm getting is Faith, Murdered Sole Suspect, which I heard bad things about, but $14.99, you know.
Have you seen that Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment?
I did. I watched the review for it last night. I really want to play it.
And the graphics look rubbish, but...
I really want to play it. The graphics actually didn't look that bad to me.
Oh, I saw some gameplay of it, and they were a bit...
Oh, the review I saw showed the cutscenes has been quite nice.
Oh, right, okay.
But I'm not willing to pay $60 or $39.99 for it. It's one of those I'll wait $14.99.
Zavvi have got it on sale at the moment, but obviously that'll be a UK version, so...
£31.99, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I didn't see what price it was, because I'm not really interested, but...
There we go, apply that.
Any questions, or...?
Yeah, have we got any questions? Let's have a look. And then we better think of finishing up.
No. I didn't even realise that was a time.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Just disappears.
No, we've got no new questions.
Oh.
Well, I guess we'll have to end. I guess we'll end it here then.
Yeah.
You know, would you like to say what you want to say first?
Thank you everybody for watching. This has been, I can't believe this has been our 3rd one. And like you say, the time just keeps going, goes by really, really quickly. I really enjoyed it. So looking forward to next time when we get to show off our stuff and that. So.
Okay.
But thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody for watching and everybody who's taken part in commenting. Thanks to me and Tash for another Movie Magic and Gaming Gurus live. Tash's subscription will be down below if you want to subscribe. And as always, subscribe to me as well, please. And next week we'll be talking about our Black Friday pickups, and we'll be telling you about our experiences. So it should be a fun experience for us all. So as always, guys, thanks for watching and have a lovely, lovely day.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.